Easy day. That was one hell of an introduction, Sean. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That in the Auburn Brown? What is it?
It's a burgundy, I
Burgundy, I like it. That is your girl, Adara.
It is.
And that is Randy. And Trenda's back. I was able to abduct Trenda. Yeah, Ram is really upset about that. Trenda is back. What's up, Randy? Good. Trenda just got shellacked by Randy, but Trenda is back. Welcome to everybody. Adam Deluce, what's up, my man? Yannick Nesbeth, Eddie R. Hey, Davis. Cesar Sandoval in the house. Scott H, what's up? Small cap gappers, Silo and Nass are running, according to Scott H. Shout out to him. Bora Hutt. Daryl Finch, Nate, so is Stock Up, Courtney Blake there too, Papa Bear, hello there, Robert Isaac, I should say, Kurt Hoffman, Aaron, and Joanna Brewster. We got Gorev, the Piper, the OG Darwood in the house, Mary L, haven't seen that name before, Hurry, me, they say yes, no problem, Urso, Robert Woods, as well as Tammy B. Shout out to everybody, good morning, Adair.
Good morning, how are you this fine? What day is it, Thursday?
It is.
How are you doing, Trenda? How are you doing this Thursday? Happy to be back. But yeah, no, I've had 2 L's, but that means we're going to make more M's. As 21 Savage says, and I also have not had my first caffeine of the day yet. So, Derek, what are you doing, Jordan? So I had NVDA, which was, yeah. So I to be fair, proud of, I don't know what that sound was.
That was Ram.
I'm proud of my approach to it. I liked that look. We come here, we had that big old swoop down to that. When we come up at 119s, I watch. We break below. I say, Adara, I like what I see on the book. I get short. I only risked 20 pennies. This was like pretty clean. Took it with maybe more size than was advisable. At sizable, I don't know. But I tried. The attempts were made. It's all good, baby. And then obviously now we've just had that chop and turn. That's how it should be played. Now, Soxl was a Soxl. There's no Sox W and Soxl for me, but I am proud of myself for attempting it. I just think the management should have been better. I don't love my point of entry. I wanted initially like 51, around where we are now, like 52s for the short. I ended up getting 51.80s and added a couple times, so the entry a little bit questionable. Not a massive position, but probably larger than I should have been taking. If I'd scalped out here when we got into 6s, that would have been great. I tried to, but then Soxl ran right back up. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's all good there. Like I said, I always like to use the L's or the little hits that you take on the shoulder to motivate me to go harder. If there's any tickers that are motivating you that you want to look at, I don't know if it started yet today, but when it starts, just so you guys know, you have the opportunity to vote in our new audience segment brought to you by Real Trading. So if you have some real trades that you took or that you looked at or were wondering, what would the big kahunas do here? We can find out. Exclamation point, join space, $, AAPL, GOGL, TSLA, that's small cap, SILO, whatever tickers you fancy. You guys go in there and you make it happen. I love audience segments. What are you looking at? I see some triangles.
I do. I want to big up Intel, though. Intel is up 5%, and it's still going. 30 million shares on Intel. I got that in the corner of my eye there. AVGO up as well. Okay, so I took short Apple at 227, not a random area, but a 10 exponential retracement. Look, I've traded Apple quite poorly this week. It's been very consolidative after an initial move up or down. Today, not so much. Today, it has direction to the downside, obviously, much to the chagrin of my personal account, but that's the way trading and investing is. So today, all I can say is I feel like I have a better read on AAPL today, a bit more in the way of direction as opposed to chop and churn to the side. And that, obviously as a trend trader, that works for me. I tried to range trade it, but it was bamboozling. Anyway, Tesla, the strongest name on the day in Mag 7 World, up 2 1/3. And I do love these higher lows. I want to see if we can get a higher high through that 255 and 2/3. So good look right now on Tesla for the bulls if you are, insisting on getting long something as opposed to shorts, because the shorts have certainly been in play today. We'll cover many, many more different names as the show goes on, but right now we're going to start the lesson du jour, and we're talking about Elliot wave theory for the second last time. Tomorrow we're going to conclude the 10-part mini-series. Today we are talking about wave truncation, essentially a very fancy word for saying that the wave does not finish its complete shape. It doesn't move up into the area that it's supposed to. So essentially it is kind of like what's the word I can use without getting canceled here? A smaller wave. It didn't fully grow to its full potential. Let's just go with that. So in Elliott wave theory, the ideal scenario often involves a textbook progression of impulse waves, which we know are waves 1, 3, and 5, followed by the corrective waves, wave 2 and 4. However, the market can sometimes throw us curveballs, and that's a baseball metaphor in case you are not from North America. One such deviation is wave truncation. Let's explore what wave truncation is, how to identify it, and the potential implications for trading. So let's get right to it. So what is wave truncation? Mind my very kind of rudimentary explanation at the start. So essentially here, imagine a stunned version of a wave, okay? Stunted version of a wave. Wave truncation occurs when an expected wave, it's typically here wave 3 or 5, not so much wave 1, 2, and 4. We're usually talking about wave 3 and 5 when we're talking about wave truncation. Essentially, it fails to reach its normal extension, its Fibonacci extension, or its target length. It appears kind of chopped short compared to the ideal Elliott wave structure. So it kind of, that's really what we're looking at. It's just cut short. And here's what I mean by that. So you get that initial big boy move on wave 1, the choppier of the waves. We already talked about that. You get a decent 38.2% retracement into wave 2. Then you get that big boy wave 3, the biggest, the baddest, and the meanest of the waves. Then you get a decent wave 4 correction. But what? Look, lo and behold, wave 5 unable to breach or even reach the top of wave 3. So now what we have here is wave truncation, and this works for both sides, the longs and the shorts. So we have that initial wave 1 down, wave 2 correction to the high side, that big boy wave 3 correcting a little bit, wave 4, wave 5 comes in, cannot make a newer low than wave 3. So it's truncated, and then we end up basically having a wave 5, but the wave 5 doesn't reach its full potential. That's what we're talking about here, okay? So why does wave truncation happen? What's going on here? Several factors can contribute to wave truncation. Number 1, external events, right? Unexpected economic data, news events, or changes in the central bank policy, like for example, the umpteen amount of Fed speakers that we have today. These all can disrupt the market flow and act to truncate a wave. There's also price exhaustion, right? The market might lack the momentum to push the wave to its full extension, leading basically to a premature ending. And there's also the issue of strong counter trend forces. What do I mean by that? So emerging forces like strong support and resistance levels that are coming into that top of wave 5, or significant selling pressure as a result of a long-term resistance level like that 200 on Apple before it got breached, for example, or that 165 support on Apple. Basically, that's kind of what I'm trying to say there. So how do you identify these truncated waves? What's the move here? Well, not always definitive. Certainly, some signs suggest potential wave truncation. The first one is a shallow extension. I'll show you what I mean by this in a second. So wave 3 or wave 5, they both usually have some issues with truncation. It fails to reach its typical Fibonacci extension, which if you go back to the original lessons, you know that wave 3 is about 1.618 times the length of wave 1. So we have standards off which we're working. So it typically fails to reach that wave extension. It also typically has limited momentum. The price movement in the truncated wave lacks the vigor and the momentum observed in these non-truncated waves. And yeah, sometimes you can see a failed breakout. Like for example, that earlier image I showed you of a truncated wave 5, unable to surpass the top of wave 3. So that would be your breakout area, the top of wave 3, and it comes into that area and it rejects. So price movement attempts to break a key level of support or resistance, but fails to sustain the breakout. So basically suggesting potential wave truncation. And here's what I mean by that. Here's an actual IRL. This is the USD and the yen. You have that initial big boy wave 1. You can't really see it here. You have that wave 1 starting from up here into there. You have a decent wave 2, looks like about 50% or 61.8% retracement. Then you have the monster wave 3 come all the way up into that key area. Of resistance. Wave 4 retraces healthy, but that wave 5 can't do it. Can't seem to breach wave 3, and then what we end up doing is making a newer low, and that's kind of your go-to look right there. So you know that No, that top of the wave 5 was unable to reach that 126 level that wave 3 got to. That should be your go-to look there. And then once you start making lower highs and lower lows, then you're kind of confirming that. Here's another look. Again, USD, Japanese yen. I don't know why there's so many of these. I didn't actually mean that. There's your initial wave 1. Right? So you get that wave 1 push up. You have a wave 2 retracement of basically almost 61.8%. Then you have that lengthy big boy wave 3, a healthy wave 4 retracement right there. But wave 5 unable to breach the top of the wave 3 right there. So wave 4 comes in decent here. It's like a 38.2% retracement, but the wave 5 never even develops. So sometimes you have wave 5s developing like this one, which can't seem to reach the top of wave 3. Sometimes here you just don't have wave 5 forming at all, and that kind of basically was confirmed by the breaking of the new low. So that's a look there. And again, another example over here, you have, this is to the bear case though, you have that initial wave 1 down move, a healthy wave 2 retracement, a big boy drop on wave 3, a healthy wave 4 retracement. But look at this, wave 5, it doesn't even come to the bottom of wave 3. The trough of wave 5 can't make it to the trough or to the level of wave 3, and you get that reversal. So that kind of bullish double bottom that sometimes we call this pattern when the right side of the W is a little bit higher than the left. So the trading implications of this, let's go through those. So truncation can impact trading decisions. Obviously, it has a way of having false signals, right? Truncated waves can mimic the characteristics of the corrective waves of waves 2 and 4, leading to potential premature exits from the trend when you should actually be holding on. But there's also volatility that happens during truncation. Truncation can introduce increased volatility as the market searches for a new direction, right? Because we're waiting for wave 5 to develop. All of a sudden, that's in question, so it zigs and zags a little bit. And there's also the issue of trend continuation. Despite truncation, the overall trend might be valid. So it behooves you here not to rely entirely on Elliott wave analysis, but to actually get confirmation using other technical indicators, such as a higher time frame analysis. So managing truncations, how are you going to do this when you're actually using Elliott waves to get in and out of trades? Here are some tips for navigating wave truncation. Confirmation is absolutely key, right? Don't rely solely on wave truncation for trading decisions. Seek confirmation from indicators and higher time frame analysis, and make sure you're managing risk. Can't say this enough. Manage proper or maintain proper risk management, especially during periods of truncation-induced volatility, and be ready to be adaptable at all times, right? The market has a way of throwing curveballs. Be prepared to adjust your trading strategy if truncation suggests a potential shift in the market direction, guys. And remember, wave truncation is a deviation from the ideal Elliott wave pattern. However, by understanding its characteristics and potential implications, you can better be prepared to navigate these situations and make better informed trading decisions, Adair.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharif, for that. Thanks for putting together that lesson. What I think is so cool about these lessons, I want to shout out. Oh, it's an elephant. It's truncation. He's riding the wave.
There you go. That's fantastic. Was that Sora?
That was Fabian. Shout out to Fabian there, an artist.
Amazing.
If you did not know,
that's amazing.
So shout out to that.
Wow.
But also, what I think is cool is because it shows it's not just like well, you could potentially have false signals. What I love about these lessons is showing you this is what they could look like as well.
Yes.
So I really want to shout out Sharif for those fabulous lessons and just being awesome on this desk. I like being grateful. You know what else I'm grateful for? The Cybertruck. Took 2 successful trades on this, both directions. I want to talk about them. This first one here, I got long this top. I'm aware this looks deeply sketchy, but I watched the book. I was initially interested. We got our first pop. We made that initial topping tail cancel here. We get into 255.55s. Then we sell back. We get back to 254.50s. And I say, Dara, watch what we do here. If you keep seeing higher lows, I don't think you're going to get that whole move, but you might be able to get 255s. I ended up taking about 35 pennies on it, so I was happy with that. Happy I set my exit where I did as well, because I wouldn't have gotten anything else. Then I'm like, oh, hey, so now Tesla trying to break down now, huh? You want me to hop in that Cybertruck? It did. Obviously, could I have stayed in longer? For sure. But that wasn't really the point of the trade. I was willing to get that 254 breakdown. I got involved at 254.30s when I realized I wasn't going to necessarily get it in a timeline I was comfortable with. Got it out at 254s, took 30 pennies there. Very happy with what I've done here in Tesla so far. Obviously, these aren't massive positions. They're not massive trades, but it's about the reps. It's about getting those gains there, doing those arm workouts so you can take some different trades later on. Also, it sucks because NVIDIA, to me, is looking like way better technically than SOXL, but I don't know what it is. I feel like my levels in NVIDIA have just not been it lately. I don't know. I don't want to get too in my head, though. If I see a nice little rejection here on the book of that previous area of support, I'll give it more room to run, because that was my issue last time, too. I didn't give it that much room. You know what? We're rejecting here. We're making lower highs. We're going to try to get involved at 60, small position, add at 65. If I have anything, if I see something distinctly different, I will get out, because I do think there is something here in the water here on NVDA, and SOXL is just not going to give me, I think, what I really want in this. So SOXL, to talk about those trades, though, shout out, thank you to Tammy KB for the kind words for the SOXL trade in the chat. I did, obviously, I wasn't there for the whole move. I got a small position. I wanted to add, because like I said, first short didn't work out. Tried the second short, took way too small of a position, ended up getting like, I think 35 pennies, so I'm not going to cry over spilt shares here. SOXL breaking lower. If I end up feeling like I have a better read on SOXL, I'll switch out of NVIDIA. But I just got NVIDIA, and now NVIDIA is pushing lower. So it's like, hey, NVIDIA, you want me to take up? Okay, yeah, I'll take up part of the position here. Beggars, well, I'm not a beggar. Beggars can't be choosers, but also traders can't be choosers, because you never know what you're going to get. I said that phrase and I was like, I don't like that I said that. But traders literally cannot be choosers. You got to take what you get. NVIDIA, if you keep bouncing here off 30s, that's going to be a bit dicey. Happy I de-risked the position, but I'm seeing some stuff in the book I don't like. My biggest issue yesterday was not trusting my read on the book enough. Let's get it popping, NVIDIA. Oh, you want to break below 30s? You say it with me. Please just punch. What are you looking at?
Good. I'm just excited that you're excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. I love the energy today. All right, let's. I'm in NAS at the moment. Shout out to Scott H. I'm going to get to SLRX in a second, because Scott was telling me about that. So there's a lot of small cap gappers right now. I've got 5 up. I didn't actually, sadly, prepare this prior to the show, but I've got them up now. So here's why I got into to NAS, because it came into that previous area of resistance, that 640, 650 area. It's also the area where VWAP is. So I said, look, get in here. It's a good area to defend. You're above the volume weighted average price. You're not breaking your rules by getting long on NAS here. So we'll see what we get here. I've given it to 620 to hold. Silo as well. Sorry. So let me give you the deets first quickly here on NAS, because I know that this is, it's been running for a while. It's not new for us, but it's an $83 million market cap, 9.9 million shares traded on the day. Again, I don't have the proper float. We'll have to use trade ideas over here, because mine says something incorrect. Trade ideas 4.15 million shares and 1.3, basically 1 3/4 of the float is shorted. So long NAS. I'm also looking at BNED. This thing is an absolute monster. Look at it fly. Here comes 1050. This started its life at 8 1/4, 8 1/3. It's flying right now. Let me give you the deets on BNED as well. This is a $275 million market cap. Very light volume on the day. 850,000. There hasn't been halts, as you can see. Despite that, it still hasn't printed that many shares traded. 10.5 million share float. And let me tell you what the short float is. 1.59% of the 23.62 million shares shorted there, according to trade ideas. But BNED looks really good here, but they're just not really giving you anywhere to enter. SILO, another monster on the day. Let's talk about this one. It's #1 gap scanner on my chart, 78.2%. It's got 14.75 million market cap, 78.5 million shares traded today, and a 3.5 million share float, so quite small. Let's find out the short float. 1.99%, so 2%, not negligible, but nothing really to write home about. But there it is, big move up for good day for Silo. The big move though is happening here right now on SLRX. Shout out to Scott H for pointing this out to me. This one has a short float, large, 27.1% of this stock's float is shorted, and look at the float, 597,000. Let me double check that on mine, because that's minuscule. This is according to trade ideas. So mine says the same thing. Okay, so this has got about 500,000 share float, and about more than 1/4 of that 500,000 share float is borrowed for short. So this thing can absolutely fly. It's got all the ingredients: small float, higher short float, everything. So that also means that it can absolutely wipe the you know what with you. So be careful with this one. Make sure your risk management is sound on this bad boy over here, because it may be around for a good time, but not for a long time. Up 82.33%. Fantastic look right now. I'm waiting here on NASDAQ like to get filled at 60s, but the spread's a little wide. There seems to be a seller at 58 or 59. I'm going to pack my patience over here on this one. That's the only 5 I've got at the moment. Adara, if I can send it to you quickly, just so I could do the ad read.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I will say I was a little bit displeased as punch that you weren't, when you were like, oh, I don't know what I got into NAS, I was that you weren't like, NAS was like. Because, you know, but no,
yes, I know.
Shout out, though, to you in NAS. Hope that trade is illmatic.
Are we ready for the read?
For you. But yeah, right now we're going to be thanking the lovely Benzinga people.
Oh, they're the best, and it wouldn't be a day without telling everybody how Adara use it. So tired of being late to the trade, guys? Always playing catch up in the market, missing out on these big moves because you're too slow to the news? Well, Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everybody else, pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving, and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial today. I should let everybody know that I actually got multiple free trials from Benzinga back in 2020. And when I had issues, you could text the people, like actually text them, and they would respond in a text message. I thought that was cool. It's a good memory there. So that is the situation. All right, we got printed on NASDAQ, and then I'm going to hold a little bit here. Guys, screen. If we can move up possibly into 7 to test that $7 area again. If we break down from here, though, I'm not going to look at this again because it'll be a lower high. And, well, then that's not what I'm looking for there. Adam Deleuze, can I get 30 minutes ahead of the NFP news? Adam, you ask for it, you get it, my man. You just let me know what you want. We'll get Adam Deleuze whatever he wants.
Nice, yeah. Also, I would be remiss if I had said, it ain't hard to tell that that's an awesome trade you had in NAS.
Oh, I appreciate you.
If you know that reference as well. It's a NAS reference. Yeah, it's from one of my favorite NAS songs. But yeah, I'm just going down memory lane myself for another NAS reference here on this NVIDIA trade. Definitely missed that opportunity. I wanted to go short this again here when we had that 17 failure. I saw stuff I liked in the book, but I was like, Adara, it's at the low of day. I'm like, Adara, you already took a low of day NVIDIA short. If you see stuff you like, you owe it to yourself to try it. I also don't know what that voice was that I did, but it's all good there. Also, thank you to Adam Abu Sahel for the $9.99 super chat. This came a little bit earlier, so apologies for getting to this now. Market has a very negative outlook. I loved longs until I realized how terrible the economy is. Ooh. 3 out of 7 neighbors make $16 an hour, and rent is $1,750 a month, like $1,750 a month. Real estate is collapsing in Texas. Keep that in mind. Yeah, thank you for letting us know that. I'm sorry to hear that. I was not aware that was like the vibe there in Texas. So I do.
No, I did not know that.
Sorry to hear that, but thank you very much for your support and thank you for being here. Great participant in the chat. Also, if you guys enjoy being here, definitely feel free to like and subscribe. We would love to celebrate with you all. If you're like, Nas is like, I like the show, then you can get in, be a part of this show. Sebastian's saying there's a crash in the making. I mean, there's certainly some bamboozlement in these markets for sure. I don't really know how else to put it. I want to discuss my Tesla trade. I'm proud of myself for the management here. Because I tried to go short. I wanted that 253.20 area. I was willing to take it long initially, but we were just waffling with it so much. I was like, if we break below the 90 MA, I think that's a better short. We break below the 90 MA, took teeny tiny baby, itty bitty share position. Because I've said I have a massive issue with when I'll have a good trade and then I'll like double down and lose everything. So I was like, Adara, you got to keep this tight. If you see anything you don't like in the book, run for the hills, which I did. Lost like 15 pennies in this. I realized we were now bouncing off 253.20 instead of rejecting below it, so I did have to leave. Keep an eye on Tesla, but to be honest, it's been quite the bamboozler. Also happy I got it where I did because I get out and then that thing ran up back to that previous top. Darius Golden was asking in the chat, would you say this is a double top on Tesla? I believe you were talking about Tesla. I don't know. It's always hard to diagnose things. I think with Tesla, you have to keep in mind, we have the higher lows. This could be a flat top break. We also have a lot of failures to break above this area. I think regardless of what pattern it is, to paraphrase something Brian Shannon was saying on the recap and also on his Twitter, sometimes things don't have necessarily a pattern. You don't know how to describe them. You just know they look a certain way. I know that Tesla has a bizarre fascination with that 254.55 area or 254.50 area. So I hope that answers your question, Darius Golden. I know it's not like a straight up answer, but I think sometimes things are a little bit, and I've noticed myself, I try to diagnose things as, oh, it's this pattern or it's going to do this. Sometimes I get myself a little lost in the sauce. You know, maybe it's barbecue sauce, maybe it's sriracha, but either way, you don't want to be lost in the sauce. So I would say, like, just the way I would think about it is there is some kind of magnetism, as Obi has said, at this level. Also, thank you to James Knapp for the $10 super chat. Let us know if you have a message here, because I'm just seeing the chat. But, you know, James Knapp, love your name as someone who is could be a professional napper. Olympics, hit me up. What are you looking at?
I love it. I'm going to look at quickly here. Oh, wow. I almost got filled. 75s coming in here on NAS. I'm waiting at 77, so we're 2 pennies away. Not much in the way of size. 76 now on the ask. Okay, so it's going to have to zig and zag a little bit. I thought I might get printed there. But anyway, who was asking me there quickly? I did see it just a second ago. Allow me a moment over here to find it. What was it? Gorev there. I'll get to Gorev's in a second. Someone was yes. Someone was asking me about Softy. Okay, so I just got printed there quickly before I get to Softy on NAS. Took 30 pennies on NAS's like. Happy with this trade. We're done it. And now time to remove said stops. But there it goes. So I didn't have enough shareage here because it's still going to the high side. That's the way it is. NAS's like. Now, let's look at Microsoft. So the person, I forget who it was asking me, Microsoft bounce here. So I got to tell you, I'm not looking long on any of the Mag 7 until I fundamentally see something different. I didn't see it yesterday, and I'm not seeing it today. You're continuing to get lower lows and lower highs. On the soft one, there's really nothing here showing you, hey, this looks like a long. I mean, there are opportunities, but you got to be better than me here because I'm basing it on a 10 exponential retracement. That's that solid green line you see there. And as you can see, it has that magnetic effect moving into those lines and then having a way of rejecting them. Sure, they breached. The wicks show that clearly. But look at the closing prints. They're all south of that area. And in fact, if I had to guess, I mean, we probably retrace on Softy back into 437.5, 2/3, maybe even a 438 touch, much like we did over here. Big boy drop, sideways consolidation, pop back up to the 10 exponential on the 5, Huadunk once again. So we move sideways, retrace a little bit to the top, Huadunk once again. So I'm not looking long on the Mag 7. If it's going to be long, maybe something different, a Russell name, a small cap gapper, or whatever, until I see something distinctly different from said longs. Look at Apple. Apple is in a full state of tank right now. I had a short off this 227 area. It's at 223. I'm going to show you quickly here the short that I had. I think it was 227. Yeah, literally got 227. That would have been like $157.25 in the money. Take it easy there, Katina, man. What's going on over there? Big Patty Ice brought more chocolates. I see.
He's a sweetheart.
Oh, yeah. But Big Patty Ice is networker number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Bro. Yeah,
so did you get the pun there?
Yeah, of course I did. Right? Sweetheart chocolate. I got you.
I need to
223 is about to go here on the dead one. Here we go. There it goes. 229.84. There is all sorts of selling today. And funny enough, the monster Goldman gave Apple an upgrade today and boosted the price target to 265. So it doesn't really matter because the market is in a full state of tank. Yeah, Goldman Sachs analyst Rod Hall maintains Apple as a buy, raises the price target from 238 to 265. You're going to have to deal with this kind of momentum to the downside if you want to hold something like the Mag 7 right now because all sorts of weakness. And I want to show people something too that I was talking to Brendo about, to Neil about. The market has a way of doing these kind of cyclical moves. And we're going to look at the NDX for a second over here because the futures contract doesn't work. So look at what we did last July. We got a big, huge move from the lows that we put in mid, I believe, June. We shot up to July. We were up 25%. And then look what July did. We absolutely made a newer low in July. So July has a way, July and August, this midsummer push, we dropped aggressively from the last week of July, first week of August, all the way to that second week of October. It was uninterrupted. This is the weekly on the NDX. Lower low, lower low, lower, mostly candles. There was 1 week where we were green between the week of August 15th and the week of October 10th. One green candle. So what I'm trying to say is, if you can't stomach this midsummer pullback and you're holding, sell now and then buy in October again, or buy in the fall, because I think we're going to be selling off here for a little while, Adair.
Yeah, that I think that Midsummer Night's damp instead of because I was there because Midsummer Night's pulled
It is damp anyway in the summer too, isn't it?
That is true.
There you go.
Also, thank you to Big Spile Burdette for the $4.99 super chat. What is it that one guy in Street Fighter game used to say? Hadouken, dump it.
That's Ken and Ryu.
Okay, I did not know that. So shout out, thank you very much to Big Spile Burdette. Zinod 1066, thank you for the $5 super chat, tagging us and saying, sounds like a Batman villain, the Bamboozler. It really does. Honestly, I think that's a very apt joke to make on this desk, given the our affinity on this desk for the 1966 Batman. But shout out there, thank you very much for those super chats to everyone. Also, if there's anything that you are super interested in looking at, get in the chat and vote. Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever ticker you fancy. Maybe it's TSLA, maybe it's NVDA, maybe it's GME, maybe it's some gummy. Maybe you're just like, give me some gimme. Maybe you want to know what NAS is like.
NAS is like,
BNED. I don't know, I'm looking at your side charts now, it's not mine. But anyone, if you're interested in any tickers, get involved. I'm a little disappointed in myself with this TSLA.
Bro.
I tried to get short again because I liked that 253.20 area. I was like, oh, well, last time we held it, let's see what we do here. I was willing to take it long, but I wasn't really seeing a long case because we had these lower highs. We broke below it, took a really small position, ended up losing on it, wasn't able to get out quickly enough, lost more than I would have liked to, like probably 50 pennies. But again, like I said, I'm happy I'm not looking at the P&L anymore because it's like that's not about that, it's about the process. My issue in this trade, regardless of the fact that I lost money on it, is the fact that I was not quick enough and I didn't trust myself quickly enough. That is the issue. So really trying to focus more on what are those mental lessons you can learn instead of what did the trade make for you or whatever. That's especially as I'm still pretty new to trading in live, so that's going to be my takeaway from that. Always happy to learn those lessons and do those workouts and figure that out there on the market. I took my little NVIDIA scalp here because my thing was like, I was like, I don't want to do it low of day, but I was like, Adara, as he always says, the trend is your friend till the end where it bends. NVIDIA makes new lows of days every 2 seconds. We pop it to the previous area, we swoop below. So that's why I took that there. That being said, would I short NVIDIA right now? I mean, knowing me, I still might, but I'm a little hesitant. We do have these topping tail candles, but we also have some bottoming tail candles forming now. I'm going to wait and see what the motion is in this here ocean. Speaking of oceans, we do have here, there was someone here in this chat, it was Darius Golden saying, with all the lessons on wave theory, it'd be nice to see a live example from you or Major Stash. It's kind of hard with these Elliot waves.
It's
we
tough.
have to find them in the wild.
I need to address this because I made an effort.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course.
Yeah. No. It was like I actually tried to use my software to see if I could like actually narrow or use a setting for Elliott waves. It literally has every other indicator, moving averages, everything else aside from Elliott waves. So there is a subscription service that I could sign up for, and it has like this automatic chart detection for waves, or it makes suggestions to you, and then you got to vet it and make sure that you like what you see. There was that. Maybe we'll use it like in a subsequent series on Elliott waves. But guys, I want to point out, I want to look at the chart over here because let's get back to trading. I want to look. We're 19.8 right now. And there's a green candle, 2 green candles on the 5-minute chart on NVIDIA. So I'm thinking it's going to move back at least into the 10 exponential, which means it moves back into 17 3/4. That's about 40 pennies from here. It's going without me. I had eyes on this one as it started printing some doji candles. I figured, it would move with the market. I didn't think NVIDIA would start curling up on its own. That's exactly what it's doing right now. NVIDIA with the Mag 7 curling up on its own because you're not seeing any curl up on any of the other names. And so there it is. Yeah, here it comes. Here comes that 3/4, and it's gonna likely touch a 10 exponential, but that doesn't mean we can't trade it at this way. We can trade it as a short because what's done is it's come into the 10 exponential or that 118 area, and this is what I'm predicting, that it rejects. You have a double bottom at 118. The closing print from yesterday is 118.01. The 10 exponential is a little bit below that 118. So I'm thinking short right here. I would have liked to take the long and then back the short. Let's see if this one can move up a little bit more, or is that as good as we can do? Looks like that's as good as we could do. So we touch the 10 exponential and right back below the $0.50 we go. I'm just looking at the side chart because it's a 5-minute look here on NVDA. I wanted a little bit higher to get that short, but it's running a little bit here. Let's see what it does. Good strength right now. Holding up above 17.5, just looking for a little bit higher as it weasels its way back at that 10 exponential again. And look, there's obviously price action resistance in and around here, but I like that 118 level a little bit better. Let's see if it can work its way up. It's working its way up a little bit more here. Let's see if we can get something in the 80s. Here comes 70, definitely a seller at 70. Here comes mid 70s, Katina, man. Let's see if we can get some 80s on this bad boy. Are you long? The Katina man is long at 252 on Tesla. I was right. Shout out to him. Killing it on that. To what? Yeah, that's still good enough, Katina man. 252.12 is a good guess there. All right, I'm going short on NVDA here. Let's see what we can get. We're short at 75s. Let's see if it drops back down. I'll be looking to defend into 118. If it breaks 118 decisively, that's going to be the end of my trade today.
Yeah. My thing is, I do not want to go against Sticky Note Nation, but I really want to short this pop on Tesla. So badly did I want to short this pop on Tesla. Oh my gosh, it was screaming at me, but I'm looking there. The last two times you tried to short that same level on Tesla, it didn't work well for you. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient. Shout out to the Sticky Note. Shout out to Sean in those trades. And again, to be clarified, I always scalp. That's the thing. If I took this, it would definitely be a scalp based on the levels in the book. Happy I didn't take it, though. I liked it initially because that 253.20 area was massive. We kept whiffling. We kept waffling. In this case, we ended up going higher. So shout out to Sean with the Sticky Note Nation. If we bounce here, I'd be interested in probably getting a long, again, scalp here. I am not a buy and hold type person. Remember someone in the chat was like, oh, someday Adara will be the type to hold. And I was like, I've tried it. Does not work for me. You got to figure out what your style is. And I think that's one of the best parts of trading is no two traders are alike. We're like snowflakes. Oh, wow. So that's pretty cool. Also, MSFT, not a name I normally trade. I want to shout out Sharif, who I've said this, is I feel like adept at being able to read and trade Microsoft and Meta, which I find to be two of the more for me, irksome of the Meg 7 names. But I like this Microsoft. I really like, and as I say that, it's like popping up, so never mind. I was going to say I like the rejection here. We come to that little area where we had those wicks up, and then we slooped, and I was like, oh, we're going to sloop again. And Microsoft's like, I mean, Adara, I don't have to, though. The thing you don't understand is I don't have to. And I'm like, I understand Microsoft, but if you come back to 70s and you don't bounce, you break below, I am deeply intrigued by the possibility of a short. I don't think Microsoft's going to give it to me, and I would not take much size with it, but I do like Microsoft. I just want to be aware of the change of tides here in the market. TSM, I'm just looking at all my side charts here. This TSM is kind of interesting to me as well. TSM doing the same kind of thing as Microsoft, but better spread. Sometimes. And it also, I think this is setting up better. So I'm going to try to take a small position here, short TSM. If it gets to 49s, I don't think it will. And I will risk it basically until I see something different in the book or we break above that 167. Yeah, I probably won't risk it to 167, but I'll see what we do there once we get involved here. If we get involved in TSM. NVIDIA is strong. I tried to take that 117 bounce on a scalp basis, and NVIDIA was like, you're not going to get NVIDIA. And I said, that's okay. Also, Elon said Adara scalping day. Yeah, that's the goal. This has been such a fun scalp day for me, so I've been really happy with this. It's been a really good opportunity for these scalping. Shout out to you, Elon. Hopefully you're E-long or E-short on some names, because you could actually probably trade in either direction, depending on how you're trading. Yes, TSM, I would like some smoke, but if you're going to pop here at 29s for some reason, I would not. I'd like to politely decline that smoke. My lungs are getting a little... So we're going to get out there at 29s. I'll take 20 pennies with that if it lets me. How are you doing?
In trouble with NVIDIA because it's not rejecting off the 20 exponential, and it's on its way up to 119. So my line in the stand is going to be 118.88. That's as good as I can give it on this one. So we're going to have to, that's exactly what we're going to have to do. We'll put that stop there. I did not expect this kind of strength on this kind of day. So there we go. Strength coming in on NVIDIA, and we are likely going to get stopped out here as it breaches that $0.75 area. If it can come back down, I'll hold it. But if it continues up and breaches 88, that's going to be the end of that. But I was looking, look, 10 exponential didn't hold up there. At the 118 level as well, which was the closing print from yesterday, didn't hold up there as well. So right now it's finding a little resistance at the 20 exponential. So if we can tank here, that'd be just aces. Now we're only like 5 pennies. Well, now we're break even. Oh my goodness. On this name, here we go to the downside again. But do we catch a bid here? And likely will catch a bid at around these levels. So we'll keep watching here as NVIDIA does flush a little bit. But to expect a bid to come in after a 6 60 penny drop super quick. Could have broken even on that one, but that's not really why we're sitting on said desk to break even. So I'm going to hold this, and if I get stopped out, I get stopped out, but I will hold it through 118.88. Right now, it did drop a little bit from that 20 exponential drop and did come back a little bit into that 118 area, but still about 10 pennies out of the money on this monster as it drops into the quarter dollar. Where am I waiting over here? I'm waiting at 11s or something like that. Here comes the teens again. Here come the low teens. If we can get some low teens on this one, there we go. So we can get a little bit more on this. There we go. Now we're printing on this one. So 36s. There we go. Nice. Okay. So got out of trouble there. Now printing on it bigly here. We're short 46. So about like 30 pennies in the money. Let's see if we can get a 118 break. Here comes 118 again. We're doing the dance with said pants at the 118 level, but does seem to be a buyer at said 118. Packing the patience is a requirement here because NVIDIA, it doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care.
It does not.
No.
Can't
So,
confirm.
yeah, so did well on this one. Got out of trouble, that's for dang sure. But that was a close one there, I got to tell you the truth, because it did not hold up at the 10. It did hold up at the 20. And that's what I've been yapping about for a long time now, about this 10-20 business. But here we go, break even again after we're just 40 pennies in the money as the strength comes in on this one. And I'm still holding shareage here. Like this is one of the biggest positions I've ever taken on NVIDIA. So I'm going to have to, really be careful. So I'll send it to you, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, shout out, hope you print, as you always say.
I really
to me.
hope so.
Yeah, we are hoping there for you. This stock sell is looking interesting to me. We're getting a bottoming tail candle. I wanted to get involved at 49.70s, get into 50s, and stock sell was like, but you have to be faster about that, which you weren't. And I'm like, stock sell.
Oh, geez,
Stop stocks yelling at me, okay? No, it's all good there. I do want to shout out Sharif in his semiconductor trade, but I've noticed,
What's going on over there, Katina, man?
Cybertruck? $2.04 on TSLA. Shout out to Sean. Also, I'd like to clarify, he put it in the chat, PSA, the Tesla trade was not a sticky note trade. I did shout out the sticky note, but I would have clarified because I did see him put that in the chat. But either way, it was just a real trade. It was just a real trading trade, so shout out to Real Trading. Also, either way, shout out to Sean and his sticky note, both of them separately and together. Great entities that I'm always very pleased as Punch I get to be part of. Also, that is one of my favorite animations. But you guys know what my favorite button is that I have. Shout out to Dick Wolf and Law & Order. But hopefully I'm going to have some conviction, which is actually the name of a Law & Order spinoff, ironically enough, in some of these trades. I think Tesla, like I said, still interesting to me on some levels, but I don't want to force it. I want to have like the level of confidence that Sean had in that awesome level. But I do want to talk about my TSM trade. I want to show that there was someone in the chat there that was saying Adara, like, it was Chris. He said, don't do it Adara for the TSM short. TSM is support at 164. Look at the low of July 11th, the high of July 5th. I want to show you that because I do think there was support there. I scalped it and it did work as a scalp. So I was happy with that, but I was cognizant because I was like, we could be breaking up here, right? I get involved. It goes, like I said, I didn't really want to go to 167s, but it gets to like 166.70s. I'm like, okay, let's see what we do. The book's pretty tame. If we bounce off 50s, I'll get out. I don't care. I'll lose a couple pennies. If we break below 50s, you stay in. I took out 2/3 of the position around just above 166, the remaining third around 166.20s. So took average like 35, 40 pennies on that. Definitely happy with this. Right now, I think we are poised for a long year. I would definitely agree with you, Chris. For now, not advice, just my take on the chart. Look at the support we have here at 165 here on the 5-minute. We have that bottoming tail candle. I would like to see us peek our little heads up above the 9 EMA before I make a call on that. But interesting look there on the TSM. I'm saying the now. Apple also making higher lows. So how do you like them apples? I'm not really sure yet. But I do like that, again, peeking our head near my favorite level, the 9 EMA. Also, who are those people on the screen? Because I don't know them. No,
I know.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Definitely check out our show. We, as Ramin pointed out, we have, evolved. People evolve. They grow in.
They do.
They grow, change, and they get different hair and facial hair. Ramin says she looks the same.
I don't know about that, Ram. Yeah, well, she says she looks the same. We can agree to disagree there.
Shout out.
Did you see what I've reclaimed, Ram? Hello, Trenda. Yeah, she does. Okay, good. Shout out to Ram.
Also, sorry, just saw this super chat from Michael Moore.
Yep.
NVIDIA has gap on 125 that didn't get filled since yesterday, now double bottom. Any opinion? Let me see here on this NVDA daily chart. Sorry, we don't get to see all the super chats right away. There's a lot of stuff flashing on the screen, so I do apologize there. Let's take a look here on this daily chart gap. I guess sort of a double bottom. I think, though, the thing for me in NVIDIA, lower highs on the daily chart below the 9 EMA. So we have that 140 area, bit of a topping tail candle, schlump. Then we get to 135, schlump. I would like to see us have a close on the daily above the 135, because that would be like, hey, we're trying to reverse that trend of the lower highs. That's because I think double bottoms, things can always be a couple different things, right? Sometimes it can be bullish, or it could always be the potential of like a flat bottom break. So I think that's the one thing to notice. That would be my take on that chart. I don't know if that's of any help there, but that's my read. I think that with the lower highs on the daily chart, that's one thing I would probably be a skosh cognizant of in my take on that. But yeah, shout out to Ramin. I just wanted to read that super chat. How are you doing in your little chip play?
We're good. I've de-risked a little bit now, so I've got two more beak wetters actually, but I was able to get out several over here. I'm happy with this trade so far, but I'm still in trouble with the last remaining bit that I have 10 pennies out of the money. But I like what I'm seeing in the sense that I haven't seen a higher high. So I put my stop where it is, and it hasn't breached yet. So that means that there is no higher high, but that could change in a second on NVIDIA because the bamboozlement is real fast and furious. So if we can not make that higher high and continue down, I will try to pack my patience. It's either going to get printed at that 118 level, or I'm going to get stopped out. It's going to be one or the other. So let's let that cook and do its thing 21 and tell you that Apple looked like an excellent 10 exponential short, but so weak is AAPL today. Even when it did catch a bid at 11:35 about 10 minutes ago, it was unable to reach that 10 exponential on the 5 because of the amount of selling that keeps coming in and basically preventing this one from, well, not preventing me from getting in, but I was waiting at the 10 exponential around 224.5, and then it made a newer low. It made the low of the day prior to that at 222.27. It's at 223.27 right now. So decent look here. Down goes NVIDIA. Go to 118. Let's go. No. All right, here we go. Coming into the teens is NVDA. So let's see if we can get printed at ones. I'm just trying to pack my patience. I'm seeing what I want to see, but NVIDIA is like, oh my God, it makes you wait. I'm waiting essentially at around the whole dollar, but we're going to have to pack our patience. So I'm going to stop looking at it. Anyway, what else we got going on? Yes, make sure to vote. Thank you for reminding me, Ram, because that segment at 2 to 2:30 or 2:20 is all about the viewers. And it's about putting the strength back in your hands, putting the decision-making back in your hands, and having the big kahunas, Neil and Sean, look at the tickers as selected by you. So if you want to hear about Microsoft, Google, if you even want to hear about the NQ, Sean's been trading the TQQs lately. Get into the chat right now. Enter exclamation point, type in the word join, space, then the $sign, and the ticker of your choice, whatever that may be, even small cap gappers included. Let's have a look at those small cap gappers, by the way, because I saw Scott H in the chat telling me Nas's like is breaking into highs, and he absolutely is bang on with that. Shout out to small cap gapper extraordinaire, trader extraordinaire, Scott H, 749 high a day on Nas's like, and it's been really holding the 10 exponential on the 5 on its way up. So if you've been looking for an entry on the way up, all you really had to do, sounds a lot easier than it is actually, is to wait at the 10 exponential and get filled on the dip. I personally looked at this one earlier, obviously traded it. The spread is relatively respectable. At the widest point, it was 3 pennies, but typically it is 1. So this looks really good. Nas headed to the high side, but there's other ones as well. CHUY, it's not Chewy, it's Choi. I don't know how to say this. It's been moving up nicely as well, up to that 37.5. Good move there. It's up 48.8%. That's really pretty good. Wow, NVIDIA. Yes. Printing on that 118 short. I still have a beak wetter. We're going to hold this one for an even lower part of the day. Let's see if we can get maybe 117 or whatever. I don't care. I'm not getting out of this one. I packed my patience. I'm going to pack more.
Brenda and I are both pleased for you.
Well, trend is in my good books today. Yeah. That may change.
Someone was saying in the chat, you actually are kind of twinning with her because you have like the lighter blue.
Yeah. I saw that too. I saw that too.
So
I
did enjoy that there. Also, happy you got your beak wet there. I would like to say I am pleased as punch. Also, I have a question. Because you were in NAS, what is NAS like?
You know what? It's not spready. Well, let's show them what NAS is like, Adara. Here's the tape and here's the book. I mean, I said 1 penny at a time.
That's not spready.
No, but it opens up. See, 3 pennies, 5 pennies, but then it gets tight again. So it's not bad. Clearly, though, good question, Adara. Perfect timing. There's clearly a seller here at 740. Look at the umpteen amount of topping tail candles, albeit this is the 1 minute, not the 5 minutes. So each one represents a minute. Topping tail candles coming into 740. I'd like to see what this one does at 7, Scott. So this one breached 7 after having key area of resistance. Look at that. It rejected 7 at 10:53. Then we got the big boy breach at 11:41. So if we get into 740 or even 749 or whatever is a high, what do we do at 7, Scott? Do we punch long or what's the situation? Tell me what you're going to do, Scott, on this. What's your look? Are you looking for a $7 hold here? If it is, to kind of round top and come back down. Shout out to you. Mahmoud, Adara, Sharif, IWM breaking down. Good risk reward. That's the Adara Panera thing right there. I don't really trade IWM. You want to have a look?
Oh, I would love to. I was just thinking about that. My thing is, I've been looking at this for quite a while, Mahmoud, but unfortunately, I would have, IWM, don't do this to me. I was just going to be like, I want to have a trade on you, and then you get to 221s, and you want to do something for me? NVIDIA. No, IWM. Why did I call it NVIDIA? It's like yesterday I was calling the SMH IWM very confidently, and the sheriff was like, oh, you mean the SMH, right? And I was like, oh, yeah.
I knew that's what you meant.
Yeah, I know, I appreciate that, but yeah, anyways, the point I'm trying to make is UM is getting interesting here, Mahmoud. I like that we have these lower highs, lower lows. I just think it's probably instead of, a dip buy, maybe a rip sell opportunity. I would have liked those two. I was waiting for 221s just now when I saw that, but we did not get 221s. They did not do something for me. The 90 EMA rejections, though, have been pretty swanky. And I think, again, not advice, just my take on the chart. Were you laughing at that? Should I have not have said swanky? I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make you cough there. But yeah, I think the thing is, as long as you kind of, I think the move you might have to play this is you're seeing lower highs, lower lows, right? So as Sharif always says to me, sometimes what you want to, or just says in general, and I've definitely learned from, is sometimes you want to use what gets you into the trade to get you out of the trade. So if you're looking for lower highs, lower lows, maybe you see a higher low or you see a higher high, and that's when you're like, got to leave the IWM, not rustling with this guy anymore. But this chart right now to the downside is very much, to paraphrase TI, grind won't stop, Russell won't quit. So let's look at this on the daily. I mean, the daily chart for this one is just on another level. I know what I want to shout out Chris Bretcher. What he was saying to Neil and I yesterday was basically if the Russell makes a new pops above into new all-time highs, that could be when the market drop begins for the overall market. But right now, I mean, the Russell kind of two pretty bearish looking candles in a row here, but I think we have seen pretty nice recovery in some of these markets. Tesla just wants to keep coming back. Russell's been strong lately, so I think these names that have been strong could continue to do. I think on an intraday basis, though, I like the shorting of the pops. Let's talk about Tesla, though, and I want to shout it again, Sean's amazing non-sticky note, but still Sean approved, obviously, because he's in it, trade on Tesla. But I think one thing we've talked about is you can make money on both sides of the desk. Sean was in his short. I made like 35 pennies, or he was in the long. I made 35 pennies on the Tesla short, so I would like to talk about it. So this was really hard for me to take. I saw stuff I liked, but I was like, Adara, the last time you tried to short around this level, it didn't go that well. And I'm like, but now you've seen it happen. Now you just wait for more confluence. You're more patient. Initially, I was taking these 353.20 or 253.20. I said if Tesla was 353.20, that'd be a whole other ball game. But I was taking them 253.20. I said, Adara, wait to see us decisively below 253. And that's when you take the short. We broke below. We came back up, tested again. That's when I got short. Happy with that. Got it into, I think, mid-60s here. So happy with that. I didn't want to stay beyond the VWAP bounce there. But I think sometimes it's just about trusting yourself and trade management. If your only reason to not take a trade is, I got caught up on it earlier, that's not a reason. Right? Like, just as you take a trade on the balance of the evidence, you also, your reasons for not being in a trade should too maybe be based on the balance of the evidence. Yeah. Because I said evidence. But yeah, Tesla right now, super rangy in a way that's making me think, hey girl, why are you not a part of this? I don't know if I'd want to range it short though, because like I said, Tesla has been really bouncy at that 253.20, and I'm a little bit once bitten, twice shy. If we go back to VWAP and bounce, that might be where I range this. But either way, I would love to shout out Sean, the president, prime minister of Sticky Note Nation, with his sticky note trade there. Sox L, Sharif, you know, he had his NVIDIA short, and I'm interested in playing this through these Soxes. The Soxes. I don't know. The Sox L here, because we are making these lower highs. I like what we're doing. This could be a double bottom, but it could also be a flat bottom break. The thing is, you never really know. You have to take on the balance of the evidence. Right now, this evidence is telling me chips and the whole market are in kind of a meh state. So maybe I'll get socked in the face, but if I see a little bit of resistance here at 50s, a little bit of chop, a little bit of churn, or a little zig and zag, I am interested in taking a short. Also, I love this thing from Sean in the chat. That's exactly why I hate the reason I am just a beginner, therefore I'm not taking the trade. If you like it, take it. Thank you so much to Sean for that chat. And yeah, I think that was the thing too with the Teslas. I was like, but that level didn't work. It's like, well, Adara, you waited. You were way more confident this time. I had my confidence, and I had more confluence to get in the first place. So I think it's like, you're right, that if the only reason is, I don't feel like I'm scared, that's not a scared trader is a deficient trader, as Sean says. How are you doing?
Good. Couple of things. I want to talk about the NVIDIA trade. I want to mention, what's the person's name? Adrian. Astutely pointing out, he was like, look, man, get out of that NVIDIA short. And when he said that, I already had to stop there to protect the profits, and that's where I got short. But then I messaged him like, it didn't break that high. There's clearly a seller at 80. We saw that initially right there, 1140, rejected at 80. Did it again on NVDA, 118.80. So I felt really bad about myself for not having added to that area over there. So, you know, just because it pops up doesn't mean it's going to breach, right? Because the seller was there for a reason, and the price didn't breach 118.80 again for a reason. I personally didn't see the seller at the ask, but I don't have to. We all know about iceberg orders and the like. So I want to mention that I should have been adding to that position there. Now, there's an individual by the name of, let me see if I can find them here. They tagged me, I think. Did they? All right, here we go. Someone asked me about Rivian not that long ago. Redna, Sharif, your thoughts on Rivian, please. Here it is. So Rivian is, let's look at all of EVs. Rivian is definitely not down nearly as much as anything else in the market. Rivian's down 1 1/5, okay? Which is not a bad look. Let's look at the 30-minute quick so we can get some levels on this bad boy. So this 1650 level takes us all the way back, area crest on July 10th, consolidation area low July 11th. So we hold that level, and now we're right back into $17. But look at this, Redna. We have $17 as a consolidation area low from yesterday, essentially from 12 o'clock onwards, all the wicks into $17 got held up. Generally, you get the idea, right? These are zones, not exact prices. Now we're kind of doing the dance at 17, trying to reclaim it. And what I see so far is an inability of Rivian to reclaim 17. This is the half-an-hour chart. You see here, 2 topping tail candles trying to get into 17, neither of which is able to take it. You're at 17.01, you move back down. The whole point is you need to take that 17 on a break and take. Now, I don't know what time frame you're trading on. I'm looking at the half an hour right now. I don't typically trade off the half an hour. The reason I used it is to glean the levels. But if you're looking at getting in on this level, it's definitely going to have to close above 17, because look what happened here. You breached 17 by some distance on this candle from 11 to 11:30. You get into 17.14, lo and behold, look where the candle closes, 16.88. So you're going to have to wait if you're trading off the half an hour time frame for the candle to close. Otherwise, I'd say to you, scalp. Otherwise, yesterday, the closing print, by the way, on Rivian was 17 1/5. So even though we're doing the dance with no pants right now with 17, the closing print is that 17 1/5 level. So keep that in mind. I hope that helps. As a company, generally I need to see more from Rivian. They have very expensive cars that basically are, what are they, like purchasable by 5, 10, 15% of the population. So I need to see cheaper vehicles if this company is going to do big boy things. But we already know those are on the way. It's just about how much they cost and when they get dropped. So good luck for Rivian. But Yeah, on the day, it's going to have to take 17 as a long. If you want to take 17 short, that's another play there. Shout out to Redna. Big Spile Burdett was letting me know several things here. I want to mention them because he's trading up a storm on the SPY there today, and as I'm sure we can all imagine that.
Oh, yeah.
Where the hell is my... Yo, Instagram, bro. These people update the thing, and they move the messages. It was the top left corner, now it's at the bottom. Instagram, I don't... Yeah, Ram, look. It's at the bottom now. So Big Spile said SPY 550.30 before major support. That is the anchor VWAP from the last FOMC day on June 12th. Let's look at what Big Spile is talking about. Then I'll get to Willis Addison's super chat in a hot second over here. Thank you very much for that. Just prefacing that, but I'll get to it, I promise. All right, SPY, let's go to the 15 over here. And Big Spile was talking about June 12th. So we're going to have to zoom out a little bit more, actually. Let's go to the hourly and see where June 12th is at and what Big Spile is talking about. Here is June 12th. Over here, no, that's the 11th. So that's the big boy move. You can see the future jumped up big there. So I'm assuming you're anchoring it, Big Spile, at 536-ish, 537-ish. Let me know if that's accurate. And so I'm assuming he's anchoring it from here and basically saying that 550.30 before major support. So that would be around right here, okay? So that's, I'm assuming, where the anchored VWAP from the 12th is hanging out, because I don't have anchored VWAP on the software, sadly. But this is where the anchored VWAP is hanging out. He's saying 550.30. We're at 552.75 low of day today. So maybe we don't get it today because maybe, we have obviously another trading day tomorrow. We could obviously sell off a little bit more. So yeah, good to know there, but keep an eye out on that. Now, NVIDIA still doing the dance. Multiple lower highs here. Look at this. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, downward channel. Rejecting off the 20 exponential, but not tanking. Right, I guess maybe we've sold quite a bit today. Right now, the moves are not as aggressive to the downside as they once were. Like, just compare them to these over here, right? Willis Addison, $2 super chat. Crazy busy day. Scored Domino's DPZ 430 puts into ER. Shout out to you, my man. Print up a storm. I know Domino's got shellacked today. As well as Beyond Meat, they were both in some trouble. Let's look at DPZ. Did they have earnings today or something? They did have earnings. They did, yeah. Shellac. This is another name that Alfred wanted to get into a couple of years ago. I don't think it's one of the names he's interested in anymore. My pitch to him at the time was, watch out for food inflation. It's going to eat into margins, but that's like old news. I don't think we're really dealing with that in the same way anymore. Anyway, huge gap, huge. From that 472 and change that we closed out yesterday, we drop into 400. Yikes. But my man's got 430 puts, so he's printing up a storm. $15+ in the money. High a day is 434, so he basically has the highest. Shout out to Willis Addison, great trade.
Yeah, I'm seeing Steve Barnes and a couple other people mentioning Eli Lilly, and I mean any excuse to look at my old pal, FAA, Mademoiselle,
it's still
this
selling,
LLY.
Eh?
Yes, strong.
Is that Roche news, or is this?
I didn't see anything new on this, so it might be just general market weakness. Yesterday, we know Eli Lilly and Novo were a bit weaker on the news that Roche had their drug trial that went well. So LLY, I like this pseudo double top here, 887. We break down significantly. If you were in a short here, so shorting the pops of the 9 EMA was not a bad look. If Lilly spread wasn't over $1, this would be intriguing for me on a day trade. We know I used to be quite a big fan of Lilly in the sim. But let's take a look at the daily chart here as well for the people asking. People are also looking at Unity here. I'm trying to see if I'm looking for anything. I'm going to see what's up in the Twitterverse on Unity as well, because apparently there's a bit of a volume spike on that. I've noticed sometimes Unity, it has like enough of a short float. It'll sometimes run if we get a couple different short float names popping. Let me see here.
I don't see anything.
I'm not seeing anything on Twitter. Most recent tweet was a minute ago, then 4 minutes ago, then 8 minutes ago. This is not the type of furore we see when people get super excited. They're on the interwebs. I think, shout out to Raving Millionaire saying Lilly could go to 820. I totally see that. We had a couple pops here into 820 on the daily. A couple wicks, then a wick below. So support resistance on a wick basis here on the daily chart. Not a bad look. But also that 840, a bit of a doji candle. So I think 840 or 820, the area we're at right now, or about $20 lower, could be interesting. That Tesla range continue. Let me take a look at Unity, though, on the chart, though. As I said, we're not seeing any news on this one, nor am I seeing any social media action for this one right now. Let's see how we're feeling, what the energy is in Unity. Is it feeling united? Unity falling here with volume. Then we get a bit of a topping tail candle. This is definitely a big move to the downside. Bit of support here at 1790s if we curl back up, but that's a big if. Huge sell-off here on volume again, guys. Wasn't able to see anything, nor was I able to find any news on it, so or social media attention. So still looking. What else? There was something else here that I wanted to look. Palantir being mentioned here by Gaurav. Failed breakout for this one. I mean, yeah, we're still up on the day for PLTR, up about 1.5%. Oh, I do like this bounce here at 2850s. Also, shout out to Sean's long earlier today. Why do I like this long, this area at 2850s? Well, look at this. Pre-market, a little bit of top, a little bit of churn, bit of a resistance area. Then we come here, look where we bounce decisively. And now we're seeing some higher lows with some bottoming tail candles at 2850s. I would love to see us poke our head above the 90 MA. It's the level that I like. I think it could show a bit stronger of a reversal of the trend. But I like that PLTR. A couple ranges, though, that I have been sorely neglecting. One of them is Tesla, which has just been giving you, it's pretty tight though, that chop and churn. Like I said, higher lows, I would not necessarily at this point take this range as a short. I would take it as a long off VWAP or 253, but I keep missing it. Do you want to, Sean, are you still in the Cybertruck? Tesla? Yeah, he said, yeah. So Sean is still as the confident there. I just wanted to make sure to update all the people. He says AF to the confidence, but Sean is still in Tesla. The other range, though, I'm obsessed with that I need to be trading probably more efficiently is SOXL. SOXL, I tried as a short there at 50s, didn't like what I saw, got out. Then I was really proud. I scalped the pop here on this long draw stack below, keeps coming back. SOXL is basically giving you about a 49.70 to 49.40 range. It's not perfect, and now it looks like we're trying to flip that because we're seeing higher lows in the book. But there is something here on SOXL. I don't know if I want to go SOX long, though, or SOX short just yet. Pardon? Yeah, it sucks that it took an L, said Fabian. But yeah, I mean, definitely you're not having an L here by being a part of this community. So if you want to get involved in the chat, if you want to just be part of us, definitely hit that like and that subscribe because we're so happy to be here every single day. Stocks out. Oh my gosh, you want to give me a 90 MA bounce maybe? I would be pleased as punch with that. Also, because I mentioned Unity and I made a bad United pun, I would be remiss to not mention UAL. United Airlines. That was earnings yesterday. Haven't really looked at it today. This one's NQ. I always think it's NY. I do not know why I think that. But let's pull up here this United Airlines. Though Neil is ready, so we're going to pass it over to the real deal with Neil here. We're going to have that plane ready for takeoff. Yeah, UAL having a bit of a bounce. Not too much here, just lower highs, lower lows. Maybe a 90 MA bounce, but we're going to bounce over to our pal Neil Roberts.
Welcome. A lesson of the day today. Day 2 continuations of a reversal. And it's an interesting because I haven't traded IWM, but I got the idea when we had a quick look at the IWM in the middle of the morning session, and I saw something which you could take advantage of in a few other stocks, but it was very particular to IWM. So the reversal requires that, A, you're going strongly in one direction, right? Like that's obvious. I'm not just talking about it on a single day. I'm talking about on a higher time frame. So everybody knows the Russell's been running like wildfire the last couple of days. So first step is the instrument you're trading going up or down strongly for multiple days in a row. Not a small move, but a big move. So if we come to the chart for a quick second here, then we can see the Russell's been on a big breakout. Monster move up, you get extension, it's clearly doing something different. That's kind of the idea. You go from one mode of trading to another mode of trading. And the good thing about this kind of a setup is you're not worried about catching the top here. It's more about what do you look for that second day of fade, which is simple. You have this quick look every single day straight to the upside, closing without giving back those gains, either closing at the highs or at least holding the gains that you've had. Then you have failed break tank. And all you're looking for the next day is what happens when we try to take out the lower high resistance level. So there's this top. If it retakes a second high, obviously you got to break out. But the lower high is right here at about 224. This is where some green candles come in. That's where you find your resistance. And when it tries to break that top, you get the rejection at the open and then a continuation big downtrend day. And what you're looking for is that previous high, consolidation under, when it breaks down, short here, stop there. And it's not something where you're probably scalping it a little bit. It's more of a big extension trade because you're getting a second day of a monster rally turning into a pullback. And the second place, I mean, there's a few places that you can find something like this. Obviously, recently you had Tesla do something like that. Similarly, Tesla did breaking. It did big flush. It took a couple of days, but when it retested that level, you got continuation. But it was actually GameStop that I think presented one of the more unique opportunities for that trade today. And if you can quickly see GME rallying multiple days, you don't have to zoom back, but you can go to the daily. It was just a smooth glide up that the last two sessions gained in momentum and exploded higher. So you had a slight move up that just gained momentum, culminating in its biggest up day, which was here the 16th. On the 17th, it makes the high and reverses. What happens? There's your lower high range. This was almost easier in terms of a trade because it wasn't even the high, it wasn't even the lower high that you're working off of at 29. The bottom of the range was 28.40, so it's even more bearish the day before. You had that weird flush we all saw in the afternoon show where GameStop on no news broke 28.40. So it gave you the deep pullback, and then you come in the next day. Okay, it had a reversal of a long upward trend. Where's the first level of resistance? It would be right at that top where we had that funky drop in the afternoon. And it was nonsensical. I think it was maybe just technical. People were speculating online, all over Twitter, like what the heck's going on with GameStop. Doesn't matter. It bounced and got to this level, support, resistance. What happens the next day? You're looking for a continuation play to the downside. First test is that level. Wicked once at the open and flushed. Wicked twice at the open and flushed. So the key here is do not ignore a stock that gives you 4, 5, 6 days in a row of explosive upside, shows you the first day of rejection. That second day is so key. You saw it with Tesla recently. IWM just did it again here today. And then GME, even a meme stock, following those patterns. And all you've got to do is at the open, wherever it happens to be gapping that second day, you check to see where the key resistance is. It was obvious on GameStop because of that drop. I mean, it couldn't be more perfect. Kind of a fluke that GameStop made that move at the end of the day. With IWM, I don't think it was overly nuanced with IWM either. It fails the high. Where's the first green bar on the 15-minute? It's right here with a top at 23.70. Now, this is a trickier trade than the GameStop one because GameStop was just easy. It barely wicked it. Here, you had to show patience for about half an hour for it to actually break down underneath. So you needed patience with IWM. You got an instant win if you took it in GME. The key, multi-day rallies when they reverse are good for more than just one day if you can find the right setup. So a lot of people like mean reversion trades. If you like them, why try to catch the top on day one if you can just more easily catch it with better confidence on day two? That's your lesson of the day.
Excellent, Neil. Thank you very much for that. Awesome, always, and eloquent. Neil Roberts dropping said hotlines every day at around noon hour. The wisdom it's palpable. No question about that. So shout out to Neil. All right. I did take a short on NVDA because it did move up into VWAP, and I did like that level. It's been incrementally rejecting off different technical levels. So the first rejection we talked about was off the 10 exponential. Then we had a bit of a deeper rejection off the 20. And that's what we're seeing over here. Probably better if I show you on the actual chart where the lines are. So here it is. You get the first rejection off the 10 exponential. We drop down. We make that new low. We don't hold up at the 10 exponential on that retracement, but we do on the 20. And then the 20 gets breached. Actually, we hold on. We range, I should say, between the 20 and the closing print from yesterday, right around 118. Then the big boy buying comes in. And now what I'm seeing is a possible inverse head and shoulders on NVDA on the 5. Now, I need proof that that's going to manifest, and the manifest to me is going to come, or the manifestation to me is going to come at around that 119 and 2/3 to 119 and 3/4. We need that big boy neckline break, right? So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Maybe I'm seeing what I want, but what I know for certain is that preceding this formation of the pattern was a downtrend, and that's what we need to see an inverse head and shoulders, because it is a reversal pattern. So we've talked about this multiple times. These patterns are fractal, but there is also an element of confirmation bias when you see these patterns. So wait for confirmation. You know, I'm not going to base it entirely just on what I'm seeing on the chart. So right now we are getting a rejection off the volume weighted average price. There is price action support to price action resistance, excuse me, to support us rejecting right from here. It is basically these tops and these closing prints at that 119 to 119 and a third. So I'd say 119 and a fifth to 119 and 2/3, excuse me. So we are rejecting off the volume weighted average price right now, but as you can see, this candle has still not made a newer low. I'm going to pack my patience. If we reject, I'll take it short. If we breach it, I'll take it long, but I'm keeping my eye on NVDA today. It seems to be in play. A lot of these names seem to be in play, quite frankly. The Katina Man, I was about to say the only one that hasn't been in play is Tesla, but the Katina Man's killing it on Tesla because it's ranging and he keeps buying it off the volume weighted average price. And it seems to absolutely pay off every single time. As you can see, it's defended VWAP quite well, but it's been a range. So there is no wrong way to trade a stock. I was about to use the cat metaphor, but then I'm like, maybe I don't want to skin any cats today, Kadera. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, there. Good look for the Mag 7 today, obviously to the downside, but they've been absolutely tradable. We'll keep tabs on that. Before we send it back to Dara, see what she's trading, let's have a look at the small cap gapper, see what they're up to at the moment. Donald John Trump just awoke from, I don't want to call it a nap or anything, but it was doing its thing. It just breached the high of day. There was umpteen amount of resistance at that $37 level, but what we did see for certain was these higher lows. So this ascending wedge ends up manifesting, and we get a breach of the top end of the wedge, which I would submit to you is around that 37 to 37.10 level, even though the wicks go up into that $0.25. Here comes Donald John Trump. There it goes right into that 2/3 of a dollar, 37 and 2/3 right now, the high of day. What can we expect in terms of price action? Well, let's have a look. So we're at 37 and 2/3, as I just mentioned. We got to the high on the 16th of 38 and 3/4. Yesterday, though, we got a big boy jump. Right at the bell there, we popped up into 39 and a fifth. So, you know, definitely going to look more to the whole dollars and the closing prints rather than the wicks. But just wanted to tell you guys that DJT, nice move up there. This candle alone has about 300,000 shares on its own. So good call there. Willis Addison dip buy. Donald John Trump, $36 calls ahead of nomination tonight. Shout out to you, my man. Obviously, widely anticipated that today being the last day of the Republican National Convention, the RNC, Donald Trump will be giving the keynote, obviously, on the final day. J.D. Vance gave it yesterday, his vice presidential nominee. I didn't stay up long enough because the dude, went after 10:30. I'm like, I got to go to sleep, bro. I got to be up at 5:30.
I overheard you saying it was weirdly late at night. Yeah.
Super late.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I guess I'm assuming the implication for sure is that stock could get a bit of a Donald John pump if we get that. Yes, I know I've been abusing that pun, but that's what I do here. I'm taking a Tesla long, and I took a small position because I don't know how I feel about it. But we bounced off that 254. I like that 254.20 bounce area. I know I've been drilling to that 20 set level recently, but I found for whatever reason, Tesla has been giving you stuff at that level. Tesla, I don't know. Do you want to flip and support the resistance on it? That's fine. I'll get out. Yeah. I just want to see what we do here at 254 at the even dollar level. That would be an interesting look for me. So far, we've gotten here. We've bounced. I also liked it as a point of entry because A, as Shreve mentioned, bit rangy for TSLA on the day in general. B, look at all these bottoming tail candles we have. And C, we're kind of bouncing off the 90 MA. So a little bit of, to me, the balance of the evidence for this was that it was going to be a long for my purposes. We are trying to bounce here. Okay, nope. Bye Tesla. Got out there, lost about 30 pennies on that. It's all good. I would rather lose a little bit than lose a lot. And that's what the whole point of my scalping is. That's why I like my scalps, because it's all based on just what I'm seeing in the moment. If I'm comfortable, if I'm not, I get out. IWM did lose a bit on this one here. I tried to take, this I think where the short bias gets me sometimes, because then I'm like, oh, well, not everything can be a shorted era. Try some longs, and that's oddly enough where the problem lies. We, to me, seem to be forming a beautiful base here on IWM. Now, we were below the 90 MA, to be clear, but I was like, you know what, you could scalp it into the 90 MA. Like, that would honestly, I got involved at 35s. That would have given you 35 pennies because we got to 220.70s, right? I get in, I think the most we pop here is like 7 pennies. Then we fall below. We get to the bottom of the topping tail candle. I watch to see if 220.20s will form from support to resistance. It's resistance. I lose 15 pennies. That being said, if that level now wants to be a nice short entry, I don't have an issue with that. I also was trying to take a SOX L long, clearly timed that poorly. I got like 10 pennies or less on it because it was moving in a way I didn't like. We're trying to build for something in SOX L. I think a push higher, but this one I've noticed, NVIDIA is very beholden to it. They're very beholden to each other. So we're gonna have to see if I like the looks on that. If you guys are liking what you're seeing though, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and that way you can join our chat so you can vote for the tickers.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, sorry about that.
I just hit the like and subscribe. Yeah, and even like let's let the man tell you himself.
Take this opportunity to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
What's going on?
There's lots of bang.
What's with the choppiness? Oh, they didn't do that before, though, no? Sorry, go ahead. What's up?
Also, actually, Rick Bin Laden, I'm actually up on the day today, but I don't check my P&L much, but I just took a look at that because I was like curious about that. But yeah, no, different styles work for different people. I just want to say that because I think that's really key. And also, if you have any stocks you're looking at, get involved in the chat and go in there, exclamation point, join space, $. Maybe it's MSFT, maybe it's TSLA, maybe it's NAS's like. Maybe you want to know what NAS was like. Maybe it's Apple, maybe it's Google, maybe it's just Goog. I don't know, but you could just want Goog. Whatever tickers your fancy. Get involved. Also, to answer the question of why SOX L, I like SOX L because it moves fast and it's a little bit cheaper, so you can take a little bit more size and scalp in and out. Because like in 1 wick, you can get like 10 pennies, right? So I like the way it trades for my purposes. Good times.
Fantastic. I wanted to mention here that something's afoot here on NVIDIA. So what happened was we talked about this possible inverse head and shoulders coming in. Look what it did. So it comes into that key area of technical resistance. Let's just say around 19.5. And then it not tanks. I used the wrong word. It drops nicely 60 pennies there to 118.80. Remember that 118.80 that we kept talking about that wasn't getting breached, where I got my short? Well, lo and behold, it finds support at 118.80, moves up another nice 40 pennies there. Now it's having trouble with 20s because for whatever reason, there's big boy size sitting at that 20. I saw about 400 to 500 lots. It didn't hang out at that level for that long, so I'm unsure exactly. Here we go. Let's see if we can see the lottage there as we move up into 19s on NVDA. But what I'm telling you is right now it seems to be stair stepping up. 1660 support, 1780 support, now 1880. If we get that incremental moving up of support, then this is going to look like a long to me, especially if we breach that neckline 119.60 for the completion of the inverse head and shoulders. I will want the smoke. I took this one down and I'll take it back up. Even though we are down on the day, I realize that. I realize the chips, the chips are down. I didn't mean it like that. Yeah, I didn't actually mean that like that, but that is a pun. Yeah. I realize that most of the chips are down. Intel obviously up a bit. AVGO, Broadcom up 1/5% as well, but most of the chips are in negative territory. I get that this is against a trend, but if I like what I see, I like what I see. Simple as that. Here we go. I'm trying to see the size at 1920, but it's just not close enough on the book for me to be able to glean that at the moment. So I'm going to pack my patience here, but definitely volume weighted average price, still a key area of technical resistance on NVDA. New do to boot it. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now let's talk about things that are being distinctly different here than some of the other names. You can notice a lot of similarities between the Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Google chart. You're seeing a little bit of a difference here in Meta, Tesla, and certainly NVIDIA, okay? So they are trading kind of their own way. You can see Tesla has a love affair with the volume-weighted average price as a level of support today. You also see that Meta is curling up, making higher lows and higher highs in the exact way that Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Google are not. So there is something to be had here, possibly, to be able to distinguish the lone person out or the lone stock out and be able to trade it in a way that works. So I just wanted to mention that NVIDIA, Tesla, and Meta looking like their own thing today, while the other four and the Fuge kind of coincides with the loser four of the day. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Google.
Move over Meg 7.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
The loser
The
4.
loser 4. And here comes the volume weighted average price on TSLA. And we've seen the Katina Man has been rinse and repeating at this 252, 250, 252 and a third, excuse me, 250 and 2/3. I'll get it right. 252 and 2/3, 250 and a half. That's where the volume weighted average price has been. It's been a defend that kind of day on TSLA. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. I just like it because I want to get into it next time it drops into the VWAP. Keep your eye on that. Apple breaking down slower now. It's still been multiple rejections off the 10 exponential, and now we've found this kind of sideways movement, this hockey stick pattern with this, I don't know, I guess this is an extra handle or something up here. But that is the look. Not much else to talk about. Let's flip to the small caps and see what's afoot. Donald John Trump holding that 37 and a quarter, 37 and a fifth area of technical resistance that it was able to break out from. So does DJT find support here and then start curling back up? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if DJT moves up on the day, right? I mean, it's the last day of the RNC, right? I mean, there's really not much to be had in terms of policy announcements until they get back on the campaign trail or whatever. If there's a debate, God knows how this is all going to work out. But anyway, I want to see exactly what DJT does at this $0.25 third. And I could definitely be persuaded to take this bad boy along. Nas's like is still in play. Shout out to Scott H. This thing is holding the 10 exponential on the 5 like a dang glove, except that it has wicks below. But look at the closing prints, man. Higher highs, higher lows, showing you its propensity to hold onto the level. In addition to that, oh my God, what a beautiful flip. Look at this, the candle at 1050, the 5-minute makes a high of 714. Look at this candle over here at 1210, low 716. So resistance flips to support. You love when you see it. But again, I want to mention this one's around for a good time, not a long time. The bottom can and has dropped off. So make sure you are managing risk and keeping your eye on it, or, you know, put stops that are going to trigger, right? Like, we're not going to get into that whole thing, but if you're going to use these stops, unless you're going to use a market order, if you use limit stops, you got to have a spread between your limit orders, because these ones can become very illiquid once they start selling off a dare.
Yeah, so basically someone was asking here about Apple in the chat. I'm going to figure out who it was. I have thoughts on Apple. I'm currently short Apple, but I have two kind of styles that I trade. And I find sometimes I can use them at the same time. One of them is going to be what I'm doing here in Apple is you have a level, you scalp in and out of it. The other is I just like my book scalps. This is, I mean, I like stuff on the book, but I'm mostly taking this as a plan to just kind of add and subtract from this trade. That being said here, Apple, why did I like this? Lower highs, lower lows. Look at all these topping tail candles here. The thing is, though, that 223.10 area being kind of weird. Don't love it. We were rejecting it. I was like, oh, cool, great, perfect. Tried to get short, couldn't get short there. I was like, well, fine, we'll build into the position. Now we're kind of bouncing off that area of support. So I don't like what I'm seeing in the book here. I don't want to like panic out of this. I don't have any like definitive reason to leave yet. But what I'm seeing here specifically with that 223.10, like a dare, you should have left the second you saw that bounce the second time. You had that proof. You had that confluence. A little bit disappointed in myself. I'm going to watch and see what we do here because it looks like we're trying to curl back to those levels. But if we're going to keep making higher highs, I can't do this to myself anymore. Out of the trade. Did take a bit of an L in that, but you know, you do have to take less L's and make more M's eventually at some point. And shout out to 21 Savage. But to answer the question for the person who was asking about Apple, my take on Apple, I think you were saying you wanted to get to 235. I don't know. My thing with Apple right now is it does look a bit bear flaggish, right? Look at that big old bear pull, bear pull, flag pull, and the bear goes, roar, or get down, as Sharif was saying, in a very guttural tone that made me shocked. But yeah, a lot of top and turn here. To me, it looks kind of bear flaggish on the 5-minute. Let's take a look at the daily chart, though, on to see what's Tim cooking over there on a wider term. But let's see. Yeah, Bora Hout's always voting for the stash. We were just laughing at that in the chat.
It's like, what is going on?
Pro stash nation. But yeah, Apple, here's the thing. Apple below the 90 MA here and VWAP on the daily chart. To me, honestly, and I don't, you know, like you're looking for 235. I think you don't always want those support resistance like flip-flops to happen in real time, but I would say that 220 bounce would be kind of interesting because we did have a little bit of a time getting above that area. We had a wick into it. Then we had, you know, this candle in it. That was our last, I guess, high before that last high. So I would say 220 bounce could be interesting. Who knows? The way we're trading on Apple, we might get it today. But that 235 does look, I'm going to be honest with you, a bit resistance-y to me. Not one, but two of these little bearish-looking candles. This is not a perfect for me, I don't think interpretation of this candle, but I know Michael Noss said there's something called the tweezer candle when you have the two candles there at tops. I know that can sometimes be a bit of a bearish look, so I would just say be cognizant of that trend. Happy to get out of my Apple short where I did, though, because it looks like we are having a bit of a flip-flop rejection resistance. I'm really happy with how I've traded today. I'm not going to lie. Had some trades I was proud of. I just need to take a moment before I get back on anything else, see if there's anything I'm interested in. SPY kind of curly. I might be able to short that. Microsoft, one of the members of the Loser 4, also a bit enticing to me right now.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah. Also vote for the guys, exclamation point, join space, $, whatever tickers are fancy.
All right. NVIDIA doing its thing at the volume weighted average price is trying to break down. I'm going to give it to the $0.25, and then I'm going to get out of this one. It was breaking up incrementally. I don't want to be too quick to get out of this, but I don't want to give up too much in the way of profits over here. So if it does break down below the $0.25, that is going to be the end of my trade. We're long at 58, so we're 20 pennies out of the money now. And here comes the $0.25. Well, there we go, bounced back up a little bit. So the reason I got in here, because it was stair-stepping up, it was breaching the volume weighted average price, but I think I jumped the gun too quickly, or whatever. Yeah, sorry, I was just looking at the side chart there. I wanted to have a resting order to take this long through the break of the $0.75. That way, I'd have some sort of, confirmation that it was breaking, clearing the volume weighted average price. But it, I don't know why I jumped the gun too quickly. We're back break even now. Let's see if we can weasel our way up into around 74s or something like that, where I'd wet my beak on some profits. Here comes 71. Let's see if it can weasel its way up. It's very volatile at this moment. Definitely a seller in the low 70s. You can see it weasel its way right up into the low 70s. And then definitely a seller at 71. That's the third time it's done that. Here it is again. 71 again, rejecting. Definitely an iceberg at 71. How big that iceberg is, an entirely unknown unknown information at the time. But I'm just going to pack my patience with this one. I feel NVIDIA might be a little bit strong here. I'm keeping an eye on the future as well to see what it's up to. The future is curling back up into the 20 exponential on the 5. So we'll see if we can get some continuation to the north side here on said chips. Here, well, we're about to get into the low 70s again. Here comes 69s. Let's see if we can see 71s again to see if we can breach that 71 level. Now there's an iceberg at 66, so now it's moving down. So now the seller's moving down. That's dangerous there. You can see that on the book. Here comes 66 again, and it rejects again. So now I know that the seller is moving down from 71 or to 76, unless it's a new seller. 66 rejects again. Okay, now it breaches. Now 69. Can we get some 71s again so we can see? Definitely sellers moving down. 71 again over here, and it rejects for the 5th or 6th time. Again, here we go. And now we get the Prenadera. Nice. So happy with this trade. Let's see if we can move up a little bit here on NVDA. Let's see if we can get that 120s. We'll see if we can get 120s. We've breached VWAP now. So if we breach VWAP, why would I sell at this level unless it's just a break and take, and then we curl right back down again. So I'm going to pack my patience here on NVDA. I'd like to see if we can get somewhere in the 120s, but there's just all sorts of selling. So, on these days, I don't know. I don't want to overstay my welcome on this long, quite frankly, and there I'm just going to get out there. We'll lose about 5 pennies for the last little amount as it dips aggressively. Thank goodness I got out of that. Now that teaches me a lesson. The lesson is on the days when the market is red, you're not going to get the follow through on the long, no matter how good the chart looks. I just think that that's a general rule you need to live by. When the selling pressure is stronger, look short. And you're going to get more of a continuation to the short side, at least right now. Maybe in the power hour, we mean revert a little bit and see what we get there. But right now, during the midday, when the liquidity is down a little bit lower than it typically is, I don't think you get that follow through on a counter trend trade. Let's see what everybody else is up to. CJ, the day trader. No, Sharif, short NVIDIA. Hey, man, I took the long. I profited on it.
He made us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Dara always talks about this. She talked about it with her trade with Tesla, with the Katina Man. The Katina Man went one way. She went the other way. Lo and behold, they both printed. Funny how that works, right? There is a bit of a hint of the winds of change coming on these markets. I hate to call it out like that because, yeah. But here's what I'm seeing. Adara, breach of VWAP on Meta, 20 20 period curl, 20 period curl, 20 period curl. Obviously well above VWAP here. Google, the weakest of the bunch, but the future. Here we go with 19.9. We know for a fact that we had support at 19,900. Look at that double bottom over here. And then we move up, and then the big boy Huadun comes in. So if we get up into 19.9, which is about 25 points away from here, I want to see if we have resistance. Look at NVIDIA flying right back up again. So it does look like the winds of change are, at least for the moment, coming in on these markets. I don't anticipate anything to the upside as we got today. To the downside, I think it'll definitely be a negative day. But I'm just such a bull at heart. It's so funny. It's like Big Spile. He's just such a bear at heart. I'm always cheering for the longs. He's always cheering for the shorts. Shout out to Big Spile. Here's what he was telling me. Oh yeah, he's like, I can't believe your platform doesn't have anchored VWAP. Neither can I, dude. I'm probably gonna have to get trading software that does. He says TradingView has a pretty good one. I think Trade Ideas does as well, but I'll have to get the NOS boss to help me up with that setup. So we'll see what we do there. What else we got over here? Havoc asking, is it worth watching the 1 minute candle? That's actually a really good question, my man. And I'm going to say, yes, it is for your entry, for your precise entry. But to see the overall trend, I would suggest something like a 5, 10, or 15. That's just my personal opinion, but everybody does a little bit differently. What else is everybody talking about there? Just looking to see if there's any interesting comments that I can read out. Not really much happening right there. Cling Daddy, it's being reported that Elon will be speaking at the RNC convention. Say it ain't true. I don't want to have to stay up and listen to Elon and the Donald. But yeah, obviously we know that there is been a new relationship between those two there.
Yeah, they're becoming pals there based on the vibes there. Stocks out. The thing with these markets, you've got to be so much faster on your feet than I have been on this. I want to take that stocks out long with a 90 EMA bounce. It's like, nope, too slow. SPY, I was like, cool, you're going to bounce off 90 EMA? It's like, yeah, but you're too slow. I was like, I understand that, but I also don't want to rush into anything either. I definitely need to get more into the confidence. I was talking yesterday about my new tired trading rules for like when my brain is a little bit in sleep mode. As Sharif has certainly witnessed, that does happen. I'm actually going to get long SPY, though, because I do like what I'm seeing here. Now we're holding the book. But basically, I have new rules for my trades that I'm a bit more tired, where it's like, is this a trade that you could articulate why you want to get in? Is it a trade you would take if you were fully awake? Or are you only taking it because you're tired? Are you awake enough to get in and out quickly? So I think that's really helped with that time in the afternoon where I feel my trades do suffer a little bit as my brain has a bit of a moment. So I did take this SPY long here. I liked at the time how we were bouncing off 553 57s. I have a bit of a tendency to get involved in trades like if I want to long, I end up accidentally somehow getting involved here at the area of resistance, or if it's a short, I end up getting involved at support. That being said here, I like this level because it was a bit of an area of rejection previously on the chart. I liked it on the book as well. Well, how I want to play this is I'm going to be adding and subtracting in this SPY trade. I know that's not normally how I trade the SPY or basically anything for that matter, but I do like the look here on the S&P 500. Let's see where's the top of this candle. We got like 75s. We're going to take out part here at 74s. Then if we keep making higher lows, I'm very willing to add and subtract because I want to be able to make the most of a larger move. I do agree with what Sharif said about the change in the tides. Or the winds of the market changing. Already took some profit on the SPY, so we're going to have to see if we can SPY any other higher lows to add to this position. I don't want to get out just yet, guys. I got out 2/3, but we're going to add another 2/3 if I see a higher low. If I don't, I will not. I'm sorry, I will not clap close. I apologize there. I wasn't trying to be too loud. I just get really excited and passionate. So thank you, Fabian and Ramin. Shout out to our lovely production team for that. SPY giving me like, what, you want to give me like 40 pennies in the money, SPY? Okay, I'd be happy. Like I said, not a huge position, but it's really about getting those reps in, getting those steps in. I do, yeah, the whole, even the four losers, the former Mag 7 members, the four losers are seeing a bit of a move up here. I like Apple in this 90 EMA bounce. I was trying to get involved in that 30s bounce. Clearly missed that. You're 50 pennies in the money if you took that, so shout out to you. market's giving you so many opportunities. I wish you could take all of them, but you really can't. It's just about finding the ones that make sense to you. EUM also trying to push higher, so the IWM I might be wrestling with. I apologize. Someone asked me how I felt about a 255 Tesla long scalp, but I missed that. Sorry, I did miss that trade. But yeah, if you had that, I mean, we did have the higher lows here. The book of the 255 did give you some scalp opportunities here earlier. It was definitely an area of resistance. So if you took that, congrats to you. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to this chat sooner. Tesla, though, looking distinctly different from its Mag 7 or 4 loser peers, depending on how you feel like. But if you have any stocks you look at, be they Mag 7s, be they 4 losers, be they small caps, be they NASDAQ like, get in that chat, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever tickers you're fancy, whatever you're interested in. Make sure that we know how the cookie crumbles and your stock is represented, because we are brought to you by Real Trading, as is that segment. I apologize for the clapping, guys.
Yeah, and Anil has something to say.
Oh.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
I absolutely love the ending of that. Should be a thing of its own, where he just looks at the camera. He's like, you know, don't mess around, because Uncle Neil is watching.
Uncle Neil
will mess you up. All right, I'm long Nas. Nas is like VWAP hold. We're gonna give this one about 13 pennies or so. It's gonna have to hold VWAP, or I want no smoke. Shout out to Scott H for pointing this one out, but I did actually have eyes on this one, as it did retrace into the volume weighted average price. Beak wetter setting up for a possible 7, 10, 715, but it looks like I may get stopped out here as the bottom does drop. Oh, retrace pretty quickly. Let's just leave it. Everything is everything's been set up for that one. Now, NVIDIA. I felt I saw an inverse head and shoulders. Now I kind of know I saw an inverse head and shoulders. There goes the neckline break. There goes 120. It's now positive on the day, 1.75, 1.75%. Let's see what it does with the whole dollar, the $10 level. I'm assuming 120 may act as a level of resistance. I'm unsure, but I've set up a dip trade. It's at 119.50. The reason I set it up there is because it was a consolidation area top, much like in the way that 118.80 for whatever reason was a consolidation area top that we came back down to and defended. I want that same smoke with that 119.50. So I want to incrementally stair step up. Now, if we get a bit bullish and the market gets a bit exuberant, it doesn't typically retrace all the way to 119.50. So I may have to step up my level there on NVDA. We'll see. I'm going to watch this one to see exactly what the book looks like and what the buying coming in there looks like as well. So I'm packing my patience there. I'm also packing my patience on Nas's like. There's a seller at 7, and I won't be convinced otherwise. 699.7. There's a bit of an iceberg. No size there on the book, but that's to be expected with these small cap gappers. They're not going to want to show their hand, and so they put orders as an iceberg. I should probably tell you guys, though, for those who don't know what an iceberg order is, it's hidden, so you can't see it on this blue section of the book, which shows all the orders at all the different price levels. But you should also know that iceberg orders get kicked to the back of the line. So if you want to hide your order, the part that is available, or the part that shows, will get filled in order of priority, but the part that's hidden will not. You'll be kicked to the back of the line, so you won't have priority in the fill. So just keep that in mind if you ever want to set up the hidden order aspect in your trading platform. I know I have it. I know it's available here as well. I just don't typically use it. So let's see if we can weasel up. We're above 7 right now, but the bid and the ask are above 7, but that doesn't mean squat till we get filled, and we're sitting at 10s or 9s or whatever to see if we can wet our beak. Here comes 5, here comes 6. If we can weasel our way up a little bit more, I'll wet my beak, but right now we're going to have to pack our patience because I'm not getting that move decisively through 7. You're getting a couple of shekels above, a couple of shekels below, and here we go, dropping below 7 again on Nas's like. So we're gonna have to pack our patience on this one. But I'm seeing all sorts of insane strength come in on the markets right now. There goes NVIDIA up. Wow, man, I should have absolutely taken that. I knew it was an inverse head and shoulders, and it's absolutely flying now. 120.50, breaking through pivots. Pivots is at that 120 and 2/3. So great look for NVIDIA right now. Whoever took that monster long, shout out to you guys. I sadly did not. What is this? If you know, you know. Blue or red. It's always going to be blue, bro. There's just never another option. There, it's always blue. Love blue.
Yeah, shout out to that there. Sorry, guys, I'm like brain dead. Here, I will, I'll pick blue. I voted. If you guys should definitely vote in the poll, get involved, be part of our community. Also, I'm so happy with the SPY here. This required a level of patience. I knew this going into this trade was going to require a different type of brain, whatever things that I normally use. I like scalping. I like being in. I like being out. But I said, Adara, this trade is going to have to be a little bit different. Obviously, still, if I see anything in the book I hate, I'm going to run, but I haven't yet. But we are seeing a little bit of resistance here at that 554. A, it's a whole dollar level. B, we had some chop and turn earlier, 2 topping tail candles, then we had a bit of a quadunk. Now, I know it's the SPY, so maybe the charts aren't always going to have a role, but there have been times where I've been like, oh, you don't want to trade solely or mostly on chart patterns in the SPY, so I've avoided a move and it's ended up coming to fruition. So I do want to be cognizant of that. Definitely don't want to add to this trade again. And it has nothing to do with averages, just has to do with I want to see a 554 break before we do anything else. But I'm really proud of how I approached this trade. I'm not going to lie, there was a part of me that wanted to panic sell when we got back below into that 553.70s and we couldn't break back above, and I said, Adara, breathe. The book's not telling you to leave yet. We haven't broken below 553.50s. There is still some confluence here for the long. But I would like to say, though, if we keep struggling or if we can't break decisively nicely above that 554s, I might take my profit there, and I'd have to be pleased as punch about it, because we get to that area in the book, then we see a little bit of those reds and those pinks, which are going to be the sell orders coming through. Also, thank you to Benton C, ARDT Open. We're going to take a look here at ARDT. That is that new it's that health IPO coming out here. They had 12 million shares priced initially, I believe, at $16 a share. They were looking for $20 to $22 a share. So definitely a bit of a different look here for A to the R to the D to the T, which is a new member of the NYSE. So let's see. Okay, we'll go to 1 minute because it is an IPO. Oh. This is an IPO trade that looks quite nice to me, actually, here. Look at these levels. The way we're bouncing here off of the VWAP, with these bottoming tail candles, I actually like this look here in ARDT, kind of ranging, again, not something that I would necessarily want to range or bank on a range here in an IPO trade, especially an IPO trade with only about 1 million shares traded so far here. But I do like these bounces here off VWAP for ARDT. I think if we break above that 1548, we get some more volume in this name. That could be a nice look. But the SPY, really not wanting any smoke here above that 554. Oof. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on my spider. If it would like to climb back down its spout, I will have to take that thing out. Yeah, there's resistance here on the future, Dara. I talked about this area earlier. Here it is on the 5 minute on the NQ September contract. This is the double bottom that we had at 10:40 Central Time, 10:40 and 10:45. That 19,896, essentially 99. Okay, we definitely had a resistance there. We do a rounded bottom. We come into resistance and a doji, 2 dojis forming now, 1 green, 1 red. This one obviously hasn't closed. These are obviously candles of indecision as a result of being at a key area of technical resistance. A little tug to the high side, a little tug to the downside, yin and yang, buyers and sellers fighting here. Looks like resolving to the downside now. We'll have to see how long that lasts for, but this was something we had eyes on. We talked about this level earlier on. This is an interesting level here on said future. Doesn't mean that we reject it. It just means that there's going to be a little zigzag here. We could continue higher, 20,000 possibly. That's where we closed out yesterday, just below, which is a little bit higher than where VWAP is hanging out on the June contract or September contract as well. So we'll keep eyes on that. I'm still waiting here in Nas's Lake, dancing at 7, but I'm still waiting in the higher 7s. 7 has been an elusive target. Here comes 05s again showing up on the book. Can we get a bigger move up, bruh? 9s coming in here. All right. Nope, more selling coming in. 9s showed up on the ask for a second. We're long 93s. So trying to wet mo. We got the fill. Nice. Okay, good. So de-risked a little bit. I need to know immediately what happened to Dara. The SPY just popped. Sorry for yelling or clapping, guys. I apologize. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, that's amazing because the NQ didn't. So we know that the SPY and the NQ have been 2 different beasts. And here's what I'm talking about. Let's adjust these because on the right side of your screen, you'll see the NQ. And on the left side, you'll see the ES. And you can already see that the ES looking a little bit better than the NQ here because this level is not as red as this one. But, there is some similarities between the two. Hope you printed, Derek. Kill it.
Thank you.
Let's see what else is going on. I still have my dip trade set on the Monster NVIDIA at around 19.5. So let's see what we do on this one. I do want some of the smoke on that. I also want the smoke on NAS. We got the fill, but now we need to clear 7. We're putting in that rounded bottom, right? We looks like we based out generally at 690 where VWAP is hanging out. We got a quick break intake of that 710. It hasn't cleared it by any distance. I do expect resistance at 730 owing to this consolidation area over here, as well as the middle part of the double top over here, the M at 730. So I do want to de-risk likely into the $0.25 or into the third of a dollar, as I do expect resistance around there. Let's see what else people are talking about. Hey, Davis, short here on NVIDIA. Look, you know what? You may be right. So here, let me make my case for your argument and for mine. I want to go long 1950. By virtue of that, I have to, the price has to come back. If I'm going to get filled, it has to come back. So you've got 50 cents here from the area that I want to defend, which is 1950. It's an area where VWAP is as well. It's a local top. We talked about this 1950 being a local top at around 1050 and 1055. If we clear it, do we defend it? Time will tell. I'm not going to give it that much room. I got to tell you the truth. So it's going to have to be, it's going to have to cooperate. Otherwise, I don't want any of the smoke on this one, NVIDIA. So keeping an eye on that 1950 B Davis, or Hey Davis, excuse me. If it comes in, we're gonna take it, but it's gonna. Well, let me actually look at the future over here. What's the future doing? Yeah, just for small pocket money grab. Going short. Kill it, brother. I mean, I obviously hope you print, right? Goes without saying. But just print till 1950, and then that's enough. Just joking there. All right, we moved up into 1720 on Nas's like, but I don't want to print at 1920. I want to print at, we'll go high 30s, okay, well, high 20s, excuse me. We'll go 27s, because what's life without whimsy? We'll see if we can get a print around there.
May I ask you a question?
What?
How can you tell if you want all of the smoke or some of the smoke?
Look, it's one of those things that keep me up at night. You know what I mean? Like, I know you think about your trading. I think about how much smoke I want on a daily basis. And it's the things that, occupy my mind. Certain things occupy other people's minds. The quantum of smoke is what occupies my mind.
So it really depends. What you're saying is it's just how you feel.
Yeah.
Oh. That was like a very, you've seen Curb, right? Because that was a very Larry David
Yeah, I'm getting out here, Dara, on Nas's like. We're going to calm down there, Ram. We don't all have somebody on speed dial. Take it easy over there, Ram.
What is happening?
She knows exactly what I'm talking about. Shout out to Ram. What are you looking at?
We do have an auction, guys, happening today. It's not yet. It's going to be at 1 p.m. It's going to be the 10-year tips bid to cover. So just a tip on that. We can't have the market move on those numbers. TSLA, I have eyes on. I was initially looking long 255. If we could hold that 255 area, we broke below it. Then we held 254. 80 is like a glove. But now we need to see us break above 255, get back to 255, and have a little trampoline bouncy action. If we get to that bouncy cancel, I will be bouncing in that Cybertruck. And right now, it looks like, Tesla, do you want to give me that bouncy cancel? Are we giving me, is it a bouncy cancel? I think so. Really small position because sometimes I feel better about my reads in Tesla earlier in the day. And like I said, the new tired trade checklist is like, make sure you take things with size that make sense and make sure you have the right read on the direction. I think I waited enough for the read on the direction that I'm comfortable with this. Also, the higher lows on the book are giving me confidence in the long, but they're giving me no confidence that I will get filled. So I don't want to chase. That was also on the tired trade checklist. So we're just going to wait here. If I don't get filled, I don't get filled, but I will be happy that I had the patience to do it. Sorry, guys, I'm not involved in anything right now. Really proud of the read, not proud that I'm not involved, but it's all good, baby. We are waiting for that tips auctions. We're going to have to see if that's a dream or a nightmare for the markets. But I would like to wax poetic about my SPY trade, if I may, because I was really proud of what happened here. So this SPY, this was a good combination of scalp and this attempt to hold. So I held this last piece for a while. I was really worried about panic selling. That's when I got that giant, because we popped here into that 554s. But I was like, Adara, we can't get above 554s. Like, if you're waiting delusionally for a 554, you're not going to get it. I got out 553.94s. Then we sold right back off. We've not been at that level since. Happy with that. If we break below the 90 EMA, if we keep wiffle waffling here around 70s and 60s, I'm going to go short the SPY. Happy I tried the long. And I also think it's interesting we're coming to that support resistance area here at 553.60 because that actually proved pretty fruitful at 554.
Bang.
time?
Solid trade there, Daryl. Way to read the charts and use it to your advantage. So killer there. All right, guys, I completely forgot we do something called a lesson on the show, even though it's called How to Trade, right? All right, we're talking about Elliott wave theory all week and last week as well. Last two lessons today and tomorrow. Let's talk today about wave truncation, essentially when one of the Elliott waves doesn't fully reach its potential. It typically happens in wave 3 and 5, which are the impulse waves, the trending waves. Okay, so let's get right down to it. So in Elliott wave theory, the ideal scenario often involves a textbook progression of impulse waves, which we know are waves 1, 3, and 5, the trending waves, followed by the corrective waves, waves 2 and 4, that go against the trend. However, the market can sometimes throw curveballs. One such deviation is wave truncation. Let's explore what wave truncation is, how to identify it, and the potential implications for trading. Let's get right to it. So what is wave truncation essentially? So imagine a stunted version of a wave, right? Wave truncation occurs when an expected wave, typically again, wave 3 or 5 here, that fails to reach its normal Fibonacci extension or its target length. It appears chopped short kind of compared to the ideal Elliott wave structure. And so this is kind of how it looks. So initiation of wave 1, bottom left corner of your screen, concludes at the crest. Then wave 2 starts at the crest, concludes at the trough. That's wave 2. Then we get the big boy, the wave 3, the biggest, the baddest of the waves. It gets all the way up here. We correct on a good wave 4 correction, but here in comes the problem. Wave 5, we do get a move up from the trough of wave 4. However, it doesn't reach the level or breach the level, reach or breach the level of wave 3. This is what we call a bull market truncation. Similarly, we have a bear market truncation where we again make that wave 1, corrective wave 2, big boy wave 3, corrective wave 4. But lo and behold, wave 5 cannot reach or breach wave 3. Okay, so this is kind of how it looks like. So why does it happen? Several factors can contribute to wave truncation. Chief among them, external events, unexpected economic data, news events, changes to the Fed policy, Fed speak. Let's be real about it, right? Can't wait for the blackout period. These are all things that disrupt the market flow and can absolutely truncate a wave. But there's also price action exhaustion as well. The market might lack the momentum to push a wave to its full extension, leading to a premature ending. And there's also the threat of counter or strong counter trend forces, like things like, support and resistance. You're coming into a key level like that 200 on Apple for the bulls, or that 165 for the bears, areas that you weren't able to breach through. Obviously, 200 got breached a long time ago, but I'm just using that as an example. 165 still hasn't though. So think about that, right? So you're coming into a key area of technical support. The wave has been perfect so far, but that's been, say, 200 on Apple had been always in place, right? It was never breached, so it rejects off that level. So strong counter trend forces can have a stunting impact as well. So how do you identify truncation? What's the move here? Well, it's not always definitive. Some signs suggest potential wave truncation. First of them, shallow extension. What do I mean by that? Wave 3 or 5 fails to reach the typical Fibonacci extension target. We know from previous lessons that wave 3 typically is 1.618 times the length of wave 1. So say you get into a 1.3 or 1.2. Well, that's still quite a ways off that 1.618. So that's your first little hint there. Then you can also look at the momentum. Limited momentum here will be quite telling. The price movement in the truncated wave will lack the vigor of the momentum observed in non-truncated waves. So you have to be familiar with Elliott waves in order to be able to spot that. One thing you don't need to be familiar with Elliott waves for is how to spot a failed breakout. I think we can all do that as traders. So price movement, a price movement attempts to break a key level but fails to sustain the breakout, suggesting potential truncation. Kind of looks like that, you know, coming into 200 on Apple or the 165 on Apple. Basically that, just strong resistance that you're unable to breach. And here's a case in point, right? So you have the initiation, wave 1, you get a big boy move from the bottom over here to the top. You have a nice corrective wave 2, a big boy wave 3, corrective wave 4, but wave 5 can't reach or breach the level of wave 3. And then we get a big boy huadunk, and that kind of ends the trend. So this kind of looks like a double top. And so you could see definitely a double top on a truncated wave 5 because it can't reach the wave 3. So it will look like a double top. And then I want to make the point that here we had an initiation of wave 5. In this particular instance, we don't even get a wave 5. It just tanks off wave 4. It doesn't end up curling back up. So you have a shortened Elliott wave. So here, again, trough over here, crest over here, that's wave 1. Correction into wave 2, move up into the big boy wave 3. We retrace down into wave 4. Wave 5 never ever develops, okay? So that's a wave 5 fails to develop kind of look. And here it is in the bear case. You have the initiation wave 1, ending down here, corrective wave 2. The big boy, wave 3 down over here, corrective wave 4, oops. And then wave 5 doesn't reach or breach wave 3. And then we have a reversal of the trend. And much like the other picture that we saw, which was a double top, look what we have over here. A bullish double bottom, right? 2 areas right there. So what are the trading implications of truncation? So they can impact trading decisions in the way that, you know, it presents you with a full signal, right? Truncated waves can mimic the characteristics of a corrective wave, leading to a potential premature exit from the trend. And volatility factors as well here. Truncation can introduce increased volatility as the market searches for a new direction. You have all of these people looking for the formation of wave 5, but it's not incoming. So then you have the shorts piling in, but the longs want to ride the trend because it's been so long from wave 1 to wave 5. And then so you get all this yin and yang, a little bit of consolidation on the sides as the tug of war between buyers and sellers takes place. And last but not least, trend continuation here could be another implication of truncation. Despite truncation, the overall trend might still be valid. So in this particular instance, you don't want to base your entire exit or entry on that, what you perceive to be a truncated wave. You're going to want confirmation from other technicals, whatever those may be, in your trading portfolio. And managing truncations is the last topic. Here are some tips for navigating wave truncation. First and foremost, confirmation is key, as we just made very clear. Don't rely solely on your observation of what you think wave truncation is. Seek confirmation from indicators and higher time frame analysis. And I mean, we can't always, we're going to have to say it every time, but risk management is absolutely important. If you don't have an account to trade, you can't trade, okay? So you got to maintain your capital, and maintaining your capital requires proper risk management and adaptability, right? Be prepared to adjust your trading strategy if truncation suggests a potential shift in the market's trend. So what we saw over here, and I have to move back to show you this, is that we had a big boy drop on wave 3, a decent and corrective wave 5. But look at this, the bullish double bottom where it doesn't breach or reach wave 3. You have to be ready to look long here, right? You didn't get your corrective wave or your continuation wave 5. You got your corrective wave 4, but there was no selling pressure to allow you to continue into wave 5. So you got to be flexible and adaptable. In that case, what I would do personally is to probably go long on the breach of the crest of wave 4. So that's how I'd play that. And just leave you guys off with, you know, just a little note here. Wave truncation is a deviation essentially from the Elliott wave pattern, the ideal Elliott wave pattern. However, by understanding its characteristics and potential implications, you can better be prepared to navigate these situations and make more informed trading decisions, Adair.
Thank you. Yeah, we have the, thank you so much, Sharif, for that lesson. Yeah, you want to ride those Elliott waves with, yeah, I guess Trent she's at Turtle. She probably does some waves. Yeah. I don't know. But shout out to her. And also, we had the auction. Oh, there it is. Okay, so 10-year TIPS auction coming in lower than expected here. This came in at 1.883% versus the previous of 2.184%. So a bit of a move down here, but not much of a move in the market. I want to talk about Apple. Shout out to Darwin in the chat for mentioning this. So basically, you know Ming-Chi Kuo, noted Apple analyst extraordinaire.
Yes, of course.
Ming-Chi Kuo has been tweeting, per status quo, when he tweets, Apple moves. Per status, Ming-Chi Kuo, it will move. So he basically said, although there have been rumors of increased orders for the iPhone 16 orders from time to time after the WWDC, recent earnings calls from two key Apple suppliers, TSMC and Largan, have hinted that the iPhone 16 orders may not have increased. So just basically, there might not have been that increase in iPhone 16 orders, according to Ming-Chi Kuo. And he is like a supply analyst, so that's certainly something to note there. Shout out to Ming-Chi Kuo and all of his Apple takes on that. Also, I want to talk about my stock sell trade. I took 55 pennies on this, not the position. Thank you. Yeah, and if it bounces again here, if we keep making higher highs, higher lows, I would like some smoke. Much like Sharif sitting there pontificating about the smoke, about the quantity of smoke you would like. That's me here. I got involved at this bout here off of, I got involved around, 95s. That's what it was, 95s. Got it off the position at 20 pennies in the money at 51.15s, because this was kind of rangy. I was like, I'll add, subtract, I'll take that. And Soxel's like, well, what if I don't want to give you that, Adara? What if I just want to run? I'm like, that's okay, Soxel. I'm okay with that. Basically, I was like, the second I see anything I don't like in the book, if I see something distinctly different, I'll get out. We get to 50s, and we kind of have a bit of a panic attack. I said, Adara, that's in confluence with VWAP. Get out at 50s and be happy with that. So happy with that trade. Stock sell now trying to get a little bit bouncy here with the trampoline at 51.20. So if it does that, I might take a smaller position, just because, like I said, I sometimes have an issue where I find when I try to get back into positions, it goes a bit awry. If I like what I'm seeing here, and I'm happy I waited because we're getting a little waffly, there might be another trade here for me. How are you doing? What
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm looking at NVIDIA because it's coming back down into 120 here. And that's where the 10 exponential is. And it's been making higher highs and higher lows. So, and it's been continuing to the high side ever since this inverse head and shoulders. And so now I want to see what it does around this area over here, because that's where the area of support is on NVDA. Now, you have price action support there as well. You also have the 10 exponential on the 5, which is at 119.95. So we're awfully close to that right now on NVDA. And so I'm just watching to see if we can curl down a little bit more to get a better price here. I don't want to be in too quickly because I don't think I really need to be. I'm also seeing weakness coming on the future because we did reject 19.9. So for right now, we're below 19,900. We did breach it. On the future, we got to 19,920. So, here comes NVIDIA at 120. So now decisions to be made. Let's watch it here. Let's see what it does. Does it hold up at said level? And if we were to get out here, I'm just watching. I just don't want to go long super quick, but I want to see if it does defend at 120 on the first scale. We can show the chart, guys. Because this is important, what's happening right now. Here comes 120, a little dip, not drip. Below it, here comes, though, it looks like it is zigging and zagging. I don't want to jump in too quickly. I want to see how this resolves. If we tank, then we'll look short. If we hold it, we'll look long. We don't have to have the best price. So a little bit below now, let's just watch here. The 10 exponential is at 95, so we're already below that. So NVIDIA giving way here, at least for the moment, at 120. So breach is a $10 level. But there you go, little zig, a little zag. Let's give this one room. Let's give it time to do its thing. 27, more 25, whatever. I don't know why I said 27 there, but anyway,
I like it.
Yeah, I'm just watching. I want to see what this one does because I do want to get involved in this one. I just want to see if it does hold up. And right now, we are breaching 120, and we are breaching the 10 exponential as well. I love it. I love it. Here comes the move down. We do have different price action supports. It's not just that 120 to 119.80 area. It's not. We have price action at 119.60, again at 40, and then we have it at 1880. So different areas off which we can get in if this area does breach. So keeping an eye here on NVIDIA because I want to see exactly what we do. Still not jumping into this one, but I do think that, yeah, the future is headed back down. So this is definitely not going to hold. Happy I did not jump into this. Yeah, the future is really breaching the 10 and the 20 now on the 5 minute. I'm looking at this. This is kind of what I'm looking at right here. Wow, what a move down. So this 1990, 19,900 ends up holding, even though we breach it by a little bit. and a move right back down precipitates, obviously, weakness in the Mag 7 as they're all kind of connected and heavily weighted on the NQ. So still packing my patience. NVIDIA's not clearing 120 with any vigor. So if the future curls back up, NVIDIA could absolutely curl back up here. New dude booty. So I definitely want to keep my eye.
What is that from? I know what that's from, and I can't.
I think it's like one of the Canadian. It's definitely Canadian. We know that,
Yeah.
right? But that's I guess. There it goes, and it won't let me in. Okay, so I'm trying to get in here, and it's definitely not letting me in. Inverse hammer candle on the video right now. Let's see if it dips down. I keep saying drip. Dips down a little bit so we can get a better price. Good defend though by the bulls on NVIDIA, at least for the moment, at this 1220 area, which we know was good price action support here, Adair.
Yeah, so SPY, I also saw that weakness. I was like, try a SPY short. You have enough confluence.
Man.
It ran away from me. Did not go well, but I'm happy I tried it because I still saw stuff I liked. It took a smaller position as well because, like I said, I have an unfortunate habit of I have a trade that's nice on the stock that works out well, and then I follow it up by a truly eyebrow-raising trade on the same stock. So I didn't want to do that here on SPY. Took a smaller position. Happy I attempted it because as Sean said, you know, if your biggest issue is, oh, I'm too scared, I'm too new, that's not a reason to not take a trade. Also, did you get the matcha frap? Because that looks really good. I did. Enjoy. That's Sean getting the matcha frap from Second Cup. Yeah, I feel like they do make their matcha sweet there. But you know what also is sweet is voting for the tickers that you like. Get in the chat, exclamation point, join space, $, maybe SPY, maybe IWM, maybe TSLA, maybe TSM, which I want to look at for some people here. But also I want to look at the IWM. Ram G, not our pal Ram, but Ram G in the chat said IWM, guys. So we'll take a look here for Ram G at IWM. IWM. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Baby pushback? Halfback? I don't know. 221 did do something, though, here for IWM. All puns aside and all 21 Savage songs aside, guys, this is actually real. Look at this bounce here on a wick basis off 221. This is wild. We pop up more than $3, like $3.50. Wow. Then we come back to 221. We chop, we churn, we break. Then we come try to go it again. And we pull back below. 221 for real is doing something for IWM, but it could do something for me here if we stay below the 90 MA. I do like the opportunity to short this. I will definitely be scalpier with this if I get involved in IWM here, but also TSM. I want to look at Taiwan Semi. I had one trade on this earlier. This was a fun name to get involved in. I had that short. I believe it was the 90 MA rejection short I took on that. Yeah, so took that. Wow, this was a false bear flag if I've ever seen one. Take a look at this.
Oh.
And instead of breaking down, we break up. This is a fun look, not one that I would necessarily be trading. It's not my type of trade. I just took, to me, that was a decent scalp short, but this is not really my type of trade here. That being said, I think that this bounce at that 169.50s here in confluence with that previous rejection with those wicks to the top, I think that's a great look. Shout out to Dan Emmons here saying so many perma bulls buried the past 2 days.
Yeah, he's telling me.
I don't even think we've seen them capitulate yet. This is why I remain swing short. 2/3 from the NQ. Yeah, thank you so much for that take on that one there. Dan Emmons.
Dan the Man Emmons.
Yeah, Dan the Man. I apologize. Dan the Man Emmons. Yeah, Tesla tried to bounce here off 256. There's so many names to look at, and I do not have enough eyeballs. But happy with some trades. Let's find some more opportunities to get some beak wetters.
Yeah, I like that. Well, speaking of beak wetters, we just wet our beak here on NVIDIA as it did defend that 120 level. And here it goes again, Katina, man. It's up into that 120.50 and it wants to breach, I'm assuming, that local high at 120.80. We know the high of day is 122.40, but that was the IB high. Shout out to Dan the Man Emmons there. But this has been putting in higher highs and higher lows since 11:25. So we're going on 2 hours now of an uptrend on the monster NVIDIA. And guess what? It's up 2 1/5. And it was just up 2 1/4 a second ago. And you've got like the likes of Amazon that's down 2 1/3. Meta's up 2 1/4, but Apple's down over 2%. Softy's down 1 1/2. Google's down 2. Tesla's obviously up 3 1/4. So Mag 7 world completely mixed today. How did NVIDIA move?
So I'm going for SOX L short.
Say that again? SOX L short. The Katina Man is looking to get SOX L short right now. So the Katina Man is on SOX L. Adara on SMH. Go. Oh, what price? Okay, wait. Where are you long the TQQs? I'll tell you in a second, Katina Man. Hold on a second here. Let me see. I like this game. I'm gonna say 72.50.
Yeah, I told Neil you have much. 71.70.
Bro, that is literally like the bottom. Like, that's kind of annoying. It's just like 71.74. Nobody heard what the Katina man says, but here I'm going to show you guys because you need to see this. This is like ridiculous. Yeah, well, you can show the Katina man screen as well, but he's long right here. 71.74. This candle right here has a low Katina man of 71.68. So you literally got bottom wick on this TQQ. Show a screen. Oh, wow, I like that. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. He took some out at the 200 exp. Is that simple? That's Soxel. He says the same kind of trade. He's looking at wetting his beak right at that 200, a simple moving average, right?
Has been more than wet.
Yeah, well, they can tell, obviously, by the triangles. But that blue line, that's a simple moving average?
That's,
VWAP, sorry. The blue line is the volume-weighted average price, guys, on the Katina Man's chart. Shout out to him. Soxel trades on the Amex for anybody who is with real trading, Adara, one of the best prop trading firm in the world. Go NVIDIA. Up into 121. NVIDIA is very strong here, Adara.
Yeah, I was just yelling for NVIDIA to go in honor of you. I'm not, guys, sorry, I'm not involved in anything here.
Neither am I.
I'm still looking for opportunities. I want to take Tesla short, 256.50s, but I was patient. I don't think patience is a bad thing. Sometimes it's bears versus bulls. Sometimes say in the chat, it's PAY shit. It could be patience. In this case, it was... We did not get paid because I didn't take the trade, but I'm happy I didn't either because we did get a bit of a bounce here at 256.20s. Again, just trying to short pops, just trying to take these little baby scalp trades. That's the word I was looking for. That's really what I'm looking for here in my TS to the L to the A. If we reject that 256.40s again, I do want, I think you can guess how much smoke. It's going to be, it's not going to be a scintilla. It's going to be more than a scintilla of smoke there, Sharif.
I see.
That is for darn sure. I would like a sizable amount of smoke, but why I like the Tesla short is we do have this topping tail candle. However, we just came through here with a bottoming tail candle, massive bounce here off the 90 MA. That's why I want to wait for as much confluence as I can possibly have. I want to continue to see these lower highs. I want to see us have the potential to break below the 256. I'm not really seeing that yet. Now I could, you might be like, Adara, why aren't you just hopping in here? That's fair. But I really would rather wait. And again, apologies for not being in a trade, but I do want to make sure I'm taking trades that make sense to me for my trading style. And one of those might have just appeared here on IWM. Let's take a look here at IWM. I said I was interested in that short if we stayed here waffly by this 220.60 area. And look where we're waffling. 220.60 still. We had a wick above here, that 90 MA. Now we're trying to hold this kind of, though, also looks like we did in the SPY. When we broke below 554, we did a bit of zig, a bit of zag, and then we popped higher. I want to wait for as much confluence or whatever as possible before I get involved. Tesla, though, doing its wick shimmy by 256, so I might want to do the wick shimmy dance with TSLA. I would like to take it to the dance floor. I want to take it for a spin. I want to do the do-si-do. I want to take that literal dip with it. Although, now it's bouncing off 256, so interesting level. Something to keep an eye on here. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of the Q long here. Obviously not as great of an entry point as the Katina man, but I like that we had a couple little areas here. We have the 72.80s. We also have 73s that I think could be interesting here if we continue to bounce. Clear resistance here, but it looks like we could be potentially making a flat top break.
Yes, make sure you are voting, guys. If you don't have your say, the big kahunas may not look at the tickers that you want to hear and know about. So get into the chat right now, exclamation point, or join, and then hit that space bar, the $sign, and at the ticker of your choice. Been so many small cap gappers, a lot of movement, obviously, in the Mag 7 world as well, to both to the high side and the low side. So keep your eye out on that and make sure to get in the vote. Right now, I'm looking at Apple because Apple is on the way up over here, 224 2/3. It hasn't been up here in quite a while, and quite a while means, hold on, this candle had 62s. So are we breaking 62s? Because the last time we were at 62. So if we break 62s, I'm going to take it. Right now, no, not breaching. Now, what's my look to the resistance on this? Well, there's resistance at 225. There's a candle, a 5-minute candle at 1045 that rejected there. So let's see what we get right here on Apple, and there it goes through that level. So we'll take this one long. We took it at 71s. Nice move. Let's see if we can get a little move up. There we go. Nice into 80s. Okay, good. Move here on the dead one Apple. Let's see what we do with this 225-ish area, because I feel like that likely will be a bit of a local area of resistance. 225.10 is where I'm seeing the local area bottom of that candle. So if we can move up here on the dead one Apple, I will ride this one to the north side. We're long at 70s. My move here, I don't think I want to hold this because I'm unsure about what the future's doing here. The future's moving up, decent here, decent, okay. All right, so it looks like we do have a bit of a trend going on. If we can get mid-80s, that'd be nice as well. Let's pack our patience. My issue is my stop placement. So I have to be strategic with the stop placement. I think the $0.50 is a good area to put the stop there to defend the $0.50. We did have a little bit of resistance at the $0.50. It's just, yeah, this one is a bit bamboozling. Right back down. Here we go. Here we go, right into the 60s. So I'm gonna take this out at the $0.50 for breaks. So here we go, mid 60s we go, mid 60s still. So let's go ahead and put the out here at 224, break of the $0.50. We're gonna sit at 48s. What's life without whimsy? 224, and then we'll go 44s there, and it likely will stop if it breaks this $0.50. So here we go, and there it is. So the $0.50 breaks, but it just jumps up right above again. And in the 60s we go. Bamboozlement's fast and furious, guys. So it looks like it is a short, go long on the dips, at least it seems here for now. I mean, I'm unsure. Let's just let the price action develop a little bit more. So here we're in the mid 60s right now, or low 60s right now. Let's see if we can get back here on AAPL. NVIDIA's through 121. I'm keeping an eye on the future as well to make sure that we're still above 19.9, but we are having all sorts of trouble at the area that we're on at the future right now. And why do I care about the future in Apple? Because they're correlated. This is the 50 exponential on the 5 on the future. It is also the closing prints of the double bottom. So we had resistance initially on wicks. Now it looks like we're having resistance at the closing prints of these two candles over here from 1040 and 1045. We're not breaching it. And the other thing that's helping that resistance level is the 50 exponential. At least that's how I see it. So we'll pack our patience. Apple's not stopping me out quite yet. Back into the mid 60s we go. And we're still below the 50 exponential on the 5 on the NQ September contract. So there isn't much for me to write about here. But what I do see is a sort of double bottom on Apple with this roundedness kind of coming into play here. I just don't want to be forced out of the trade if there's a good long to be had, like a 225 or a VWAP retracement, which is at 225 3/4, by the way, which is $1 higher than where we currently are. So I don't think a VWAP retracement is beyond the realm of possibility today on Apple. It could get to VWAP and reject. I don't think that that's absolutely outrageous. So I'm keeping an eye on the future, keeping an eye on Apple. Let's see what we get there.
Yeah, I mean, what we're getting here is a lot of chop and a lot of churn. This stock sell, I was like, oh, that could be nice short rejecting VWAP. Don't know why I was British for that. Then it pops up and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I was wrong. I didn't want to get stocks L in the face, so I'm happy I didn't get involved in that. IWM, though, I said I was interested in a 60 short at IWM and I didn't take it. I don't think I'm going to get filled, but if we can get back to 59s, I'll start this position and then I'll add at 65s because I like that we have these topping tail candles. We are below the 90 EMA. We're at a previous area of resistance here that we rejected not once but twice. And it was also due to that previous support there. Like I said, that 221 was certainly doing something for IWM earlier today. Now, I don't want to go chasing waterfalls. Like I said, I'm going to do tired trade rules. And these should honestly just be rules for trading all the time. But I feel like they're things that I need to think more cognitively about when I do get a little bit sleepier during these afternoon hours. And it's like, is this a trade you would take in the morning? Absolutely. I like these levels. Is it a trade you have levels on? Yes, right? So it's just making sure you go through that mental checklist before you take every trade, but especially when your mental capacity is a little bit iffier. So there we go here, IWM. We got to 220.55s and rejected. I think we are making lower highs in this. I don't think I'm going to get my fill. You know what, Kate? We're going to I'm going to do 55s here, starts position really small, then I'll add at 59s. I'm okay with that because I think there's a difference too between being chasey to some extent and then also like making sure you get involved. Because as Neil said, sometimes these are not going to be exact price entry zones or entry areas to the decimal, right? They're going to be zones. So to me, this zone on IWM is interesting. Now it looks like though it's a bottoming tail candle. So not sure how you feel about that smoke. I have no reason to leave yet. I want to see what we do here at 60s. I want to see it continue to push lower. And it's the type of trade where with most of these types of trades, I'm very much willing to add and subtract as I go along. Tesla, I tried the short here, 256. It would have worked out if I could have scalped my 15 pennies really quickly. Instead, I ended up losing about 15 pennies, got involved in the 256 breakdown. Then we ended up coming back up above 256, had to leave there. But yeah, EUM still within my point of entry, so no issue there. Going to keep my eye on the IWM. But yeah, if there's any tickers you guys are looking at, go in that chat right now and vote. Maybe it's Tesla, maybe it's Netflix, which you're going to take a look at now. I've seen people voting for Netflix out of its earnings, so that should be on everybody's watch list. Pun very much intended for that. But we were going to take a look at all these tickers for you right now. And
I don't know. I've lost count.
it's like at least 2 or 3.
Okay.
An NFLX here on this 5-minute chart. This 640, 550 area, we bounced, we rejected. Now we're seeing a little bit of chop and a little bit of churn there. Consolidation areas on the daily charts. That 246.50 could be very interesting for me for Netflix. But let's take a look at the daily chart because it's earnings. So let's do. Oh, I don't want to do another pushback. I don't think it's a pushback zone necessarily. But Netflix certainly kind of interesting here. I think it needs to, as Neil would say, get off the schneid at this 634. That was clearly resistance area. It became support. We popped up. Look where we're now waffling towards. We need to get out of this area. We need to get back above the 90 EMA with these topping tail candles. I would like to see us break above 670, resistance support flip-flop. That could be an interesting look. If we reject 670, I think that could not be a great look for NFLX. I'm going to assess my EUM before we get to our last lesson of the day here. But how would those chunks of the apple, I love those little beak winners.
Yeah. Oh.
There.
Thanks, Adara. Appreciate that. Yeah, we did take it out at 225. We got long at 70s or 67, whatever it was, and we took it out at 225 at the top there, went to the bathroom, came back, found it at the 225 level, and then a whole bunch of selling came in there. Unsurprising today on Apple. I don't want to use the word hope because then I'm going to get hopium, this, that, and the other. But I did want it to at least retrace in a VWAP, 225 3/4, 2/3, much like the Zon is doing as we speak. AMZN at the volume weighted average price. Good curl back up there from that 181.45. Now we're into 184.75. Great retracement here for AMZN. Still very red on the day, almost 2% in negatory lane. To go green, we got to get above double eights. 188 is Greensville for AMZN, but I really have my doubts of whether or not we get up there. But this is what I wanted to see from Apple. You know, a break and take of a key level, and then it weasels its way back into VWAP. Alas, it's not doing that, and I'm happy that I got out where I did, because now we're lower than my entry, and there's a gnarly-looking topping tail candle that would put the fear of God in any bull right there. I hate that. These candles right there. Katina, man, get it. There it is. There he is. There's the bull, and the money flying from the back. I do like the money there that flies off the back of the bull. No. Yeah, sorry. All right. Did you see Meta? Well, you know what? I'm not really surprised about Meta today because let me ask you another question. Oh. Do you remember the shellacking Meta got yesterday?
I do.
Yeah. Can I tell you the high and low?
Yeah. Well, because he was quote for TikTok. That's what.
Oh yeah. Good point about that. I forgot about. Okay, so not from yesterday's high, Dara, but from the previous day high. Okay, so Tuesday's high, we were at 505 or 504, and yesterday we dropped to 460. We breached 460. We got down to 458. Like that's a lot of money to be lost pretty quickly like that. So am I shocked that Meta's green on the day when everything else? No, because it got shellacked.
Yeah, that's not a meta move there for META. I also, I think when I even did the sector recap, I was like, I had to recover because we were so down yesterday. Right? So I totally agree with you there. And yeah, Meta, I actually, at one point, I was like, I like that 471 bounce. And I was like, Dara, it's Meta. You don't want to trade Meta. Meta laughing in my face. You could have gotten $3 off that. That thing has been so strong. Also, I did take, how much I took 25 pennies on half the position of IWM. The other half, I think I took 15 pennies there. Basically, I was waiting for my break there below 40s and 50s. Took that, got out, believed his dang punch. But right now it's time for lessons.
Nice.
So I did not want to stay in EWIM during the lesson of the day. I tried to do that yesterday, and it was stress today. I'll put it that way. I tried on EWIM yesterday was stress day. But let's talk about wave truncation. So in Elliott wave theory, the ideal scenario is going to have your textbook progression of these the breathing here, right? When you've got your impulse waves, your 1, 3, and 5, and your corrective waves 2 and 4. But also be corrected if we didn't tell you guys to vote one more time before I officially start that lesson.
Yep.
Seeing bears versus bulls in the chat there as well. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you like. Shift 1, join, space, shift 4, $, whatever ticker you want, PLTR, NVDA, maybe it's BAC, maybe back is back again, maybe it's Schwab, maybe it's JPM, don't know why I'm listing banks, but whatever you're looking at, maybe you want to shine bright like a JP Diamond and you want to look like JP Morgan, get in that chat, make sure you vote. But basically, if you don't have, what happens when you don't have your perfect, beautiful Elliott wave scenario of your 1, 3, 5 impulse waves and your 2, 4 corrective waves? Because the market can throw you curveballs like in baseball, and then you're like, what do I do? You're not prepared. You're not an MLB baseball player. What are you going to do with that curveball? Well, one of these deviations, these curveballs, is wave truncation. So we're going to explore what that truncation is, what it can look like, how you can identify it, and the potential implications for day trading or trading in general. What is wave truncation? So imagine you've got like a stunted version of a wave. So instead of the big, beautiful wave, it's a half wave. And a wave truncation can occur when your expected wave, so typically wave 3 or 5, fails to reach its normal extension or its target length. It's going to appear chopped short compared to the ideal Elliott wave structure. So here you've got your bull market truncation, so a little bit of a stunted wave 5 instead of that beautiful final impulsive push. It's like, nah, I'm kind of tired. I'm going to go a little bit lower. It's a wave that needs a nap. Now, here's one example of a bear market truncation. We've got your wave, in this case, again, a little bit of a stunted wave 4-5 movement where you don't have that quite the meeting of the levels that you necessarily usually want to see. What's happening?
Katina, man, everything good?
No, I tried to short arm at 1.
Did it take your arm off?
The Katina man wants to talk about
please
something.
talk.
Yeah. He's going to talk about ARM right now.
Okay.
We'll give it a sec. He's ready. He's ready to go. Fabian's just getting it ready right now.
All right. How's everyone doing? All right, so we're short sock sell right now. That's $1, so we're long the TQ. So we got a little bit of action going on right here. So here's the sock sell trade. Boom. But we had to take hits going up, so that was a problem. No, I want to talk quickly about ARM because I should have known this. And I went over there. It came up to VWAP. There's my trade right there. But the main problem is that you had to pay for shorts. So I went in there and paid for it. It cost me 1 cent for 100 shares. I mean, it's just so silly to not be able to be prepared for that. I knew ARM has been short sell restricted on hard to borrow, I should say, for us for a while. So that was a missed opportunity. But that's why I was like, oh, because you only get so many opportunities, and I like that one. I mean, look at the last time ARM was anywhere near VWAP, right? It tanked hard off of that. So we're gonna try to do that one more time, and yeah, that's about it. So we've been doing pretty good. There's our TQ long. We just took a piece out there. Maybe VWAP would have been another spot. I'm watching this Soxtel trade. Half hour more until unfortunately you get Neil and I. But we'll throw it back over to Sharif and to Adara.
Oh, humble there. He knows that's not unfortunate. But yeah, I was able to take 15 pennies super quick on the dead one Apple over here. A good defend of a key level. Now we're going to have to watch if it holds. Sorry to Jared, I just wanted to mention this trade quickly. I got in over here because of this key level. Wet my beak. Now I'm looking at get out 75. So looking for still that VWAP possible retracement on Apple. I think it's elusive. Definitely elusive until we take 225. But until then, I'm going to try scalping here or there.
Yes, I, as a scalper, I approve, and I always hope you print. Hope you're not going to get lost in that applesauce. That's for sure. I also want to shout out Darwin in the chat, who before the lesson was saying that he was 50 cents into club on Apple. So I guess we'll find you into club, partying with Sharif, not getting lost in the sauce. I'm going to stop trying to wrap that, but shout out to you guys. Shout out to 50 Cent as well. But basically, we've seen what those truncated waves can look like, but why do they happen? There's a couple different factors. There's never one clear answer, right? As we always say, you want to look at things in the balance of the evidence. And so there's a couple different factors that can contribute to your wave truncation. For example, external events. You can get unexpected economic data, news events, or changes in central bank policy. Jerome or his peers, they can all disrupt the market flow and truncate a wave. Maybe you've got Mr. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember his name. Remember Kashkari is dropping some lines and you got some cash
Cashman.
dropping.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe your wave gets messed up by that, especially because you have different, this is a fractal pattern. So maybe
Absolutely.
Kashkari is getting you all to drop that cash. Right, so that's I think certainly something worth noting there is, and I like the animation there, Gabi. No, it definitely does show you have to be like prepared for any scenario, and that's why the waves can get truncated, especially because it's fractal. Something on a 5-minute wave can get messed up, obviously by smaller movements, and a daily or weekly wave, maybe they're going to be less sensitive to those intraday moves. So worth noting your time pattern as well. Now, what about exhaustion? You know, something we all feel. I certainly feel it maybe more than other people, but so the market feels it too. Sometimes you lack the momentum to push the wave to its fullest. Beautiful. I love that they're experimenting.
Yeah, Fabian's killing it today.
Shout out to
I
Fabian
love how
Irving.
Fabian, when he's on the ones and twos, he's always experimenting.
He's like doing his occur thing, and I love it. But sometimes the market doesn't have the momentum for the full wave extension, and so it will lead to a premature ending. What about the strong counter-trend forces? They do exist. You know, the mean reversion can be quite mean, or the reversion can be quite mean. You've got these forces against you always. And so emerging opposing forces, par example, a strong support resistance level or significant selling pressure can truncate a wave. Also, how do you identify truncation, though? It's not always going to be definitive, but there are some signs that can suggest it is potentially there.
Guys.
Sorry, we didn't know what was
No,
I was like, that was
you're
me.
good.
What about false, no, never mind, shallow extension. So wave 3 or 5 can maybe like say it fails to reach its typical fib extension level. So for example, 1.618 times wave 1 if you're looking for a wave 3. What about limited momentum? So the price movement in the truncated wave might lack the vigor in the momentum observed in a non-truncated wave. And it also might be a failed breakout. So you've got your price movement attempting to break a key level, but it fails to sustain the breakout, which can suggest potential truncation. So basically, it's worth noting, these are not always going to mean the trend is completely over. The trend might still be your friend until the end when it bends. In this case, it hasn't been bent. It's just been truncated, or it's appearing a little bit differently. So here's one example of wave 5 forming a double top instead of having its beautiful move. So you've still ended your trend here. The trend has still ended, but it is truncated. It doesn't show you your full, beautiful extension that you might want. Now, here's another example. Wave 5 fails to develop. You get wave 4, and then we're just kind of like, no more after wave 4. So here's one example. You have all your other waves, but you just don't have that last beautiful example and time to ride the wave. Now and I want to shout out again, Cherie, for all the lessons and all these awesome examples, because she gave you guys some different ways these can manifest. Now, let's say you've got a bear wave, failing to reach wave 3 high. So you've got your situation where we get to the wave 5, we don't reach the same high. Sean is
he's gearing up a storm over there.
Roaring over there, so shout out to him. Roaring Kitty, Roaring Katina. Roaring Katina. To be fair, this started because Sean said once he was a cat because he is Katina, and then I started saying Roaring Katina. So Roaring Katina is the bear right now over there.
Cats.
That is for darn sure. But let's talk here about the trading implications of truncation. Now we know how to identify them. How do you use them? What do you do? How do you know them? False signals can be huge. Truncated waves can mimic the characteristics of a corrective wave, which can lead to potential premature exits from a trend. Now, what about volatility? Truncation can introduce some increased volatility as the market searches for a new direction. It's confused. It's like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I graduated high school. Where do I go from here? That's the Elliot wave, and you've got that truncation. You have what you think is supposed to be your path. Things change, so it might take a moment to put everything together. Trend continuation is also a potential implication here of truncation. There's a lot of Asians there. Despite truncation, the overall trend could still be valid. So instead of immediately being like, nope, this trend is over, you might want to look for confirmation from other technical indicators, take in all of the balance of all of the evidence, and look at your higher time frame analysis. Now let's take a look at managing, I laughed at your comment in the chat, truncation here. So here are some tips for making sure that you understand if this wave is truncated or if it is over. Now, let's talk about, because confirmation is really key, right? As we say, balance of the evidence. You want to see confluence. You want to see everything working together. You don't want to rely solely on wave truncation for trading decisions. So definitely seek confirmation from indicators and higher time frame analysis. You also want to make sure you're managing your risks. Maintain proper risk management practices, especially during periods of truncation-induced volatility. And also, you always want to be adaptable. You know, as Michael Scott / Steve Carell says in The Office, adapt, react, readapt, act. And I think that's honestly one of the best ways to be a trader. As Obi says, you got to stay nimble. And I think that's one thing as well. You have to be willing to flip the style up. If they hate, let them hate and watch the money pile up. If you get that truncation, if it suggests there might be a potential shift in the market's direction, you got to be ready to shift with it. Either shift out of the trend, or as Neil said in one of his lessons of the day, maybe you want to shift to the other side. Be prepared, be ready, and get ready to go there. Wave truncation is a deviation from the ideal Elliott wave pattern, but it doesn't mean that the waves are over. It just means there might be a bit of a pause before we can get to hang 10 again and surf the next wave. Make sure you're aware of truncation and how it might impact your trading. Maybe you want to try charting waves first, or you might want to try trading in the sim before you put real money on the line riding these waves. Thanks as always to Sheree for paying the lesson of the day. Make sure you only have 13 minutes left to get your tickers in. Sorry, right as Fabian said that, I was like getting the button ready. Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever ticker you want to look at. Maybe it's TSLA, SPY, IWM. Maybe it's NAS. You want to know what NAS was like? Maybe it's Google, because you know, it ain't hard to tell if NAS had a move today. Maybe it's AMZN. Maybe it's AAPL. Whatever you're interested in, get that ticker in the chat, because we are brought to you by Real Trading. So is this segment, and we love audience participation.
Absolutely.
Her.
Absolutely. Do you know who this is?
I do.
Okay, so you do. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I got it the second.
Yeah.
You said
Oh,
in
so
the
you
chat.
do. Okay.
That's why I like.
Well, Dracos, I'd like you to look at this fantastic-looking individual here. He is the villain in Rocky IV. He so callously killed one of my favorite characters in that movie, Apollo Creed. Obviously, no longer with us as an actual person.
R.I.P. Carl Weathers.
Yes. This is Ivan Drago. So that's who I was talking about, Dracos. This is the handsome gentleman who gets knocked down the 12th round there. Ivan Drago. This is, yeah, so if you guys don't know who this is, I mean, come on. You got to get into the Rocky movies, baby. Shout out to Ivan Drago. Always doing the absolute most.
You'll have to find if the out of the market's going to fly now. I guess we're going to have to find out there to shout out Rocky on that.
But Draco doesn't care about what we have to talk about. He wants us to short Palantir. No, so this is what he wrote, Katina, man. I'm not making it up. Need some more of you to short PLTR so we can fly past 30. Sadly, you will not have that many receptive ears on this desk as...
He wants it to be shorted more so it goes through 30.
Through 30.
Pressure, too much short.
Oh, yes, of course. So I see what you're saying. I got you. So he's going the other way here. I got you. I made a mistake. All right, Tam Panda. NVIDIA 120 flip. Good question. Let's have a look. I'm still going to say, Tam Panda, that I like that 120 level, and I still like it on NVDA. This is a 20 exponential on the 5. We did get, look, here's the deal. It's been an uptrend since 11:25 this morning, so over an hour. Here we go. Here's 120. And here's a 20 exponential. So why does that matter? Because we kept holding the 10 exponential on our ascent, essentially, from 12:05 onwards. We've been defending the 10 exponential. Now we're coming into that, that key area of resistance, this 121.5 generally, and we don't breach it. We come back down and breach a 10 exponential for the first time since 12:05. And here we are, the $10 level, the whole dollar level, the 20 exponential. So lots of different support. And lo and behold, we're finding a bit of a, I don't want to say a bottom, but we found a bit of support over here on NVDA. I happen to like 120 before. I still like it. I'd like to see it trade at 120 for a little bit longer before I weasel my way in. But I definitely have it on watch, and thank you for reminding me about that because I had looked away from it. 120, important level here on NVIDIA, and it may break 120.02. Oh, baby, here we go. It's zigging and zagging a little bit right now at that 120 level. So keeping my eye on NVIDIA, no question. Let's load it up on a trading screen over here so we can pull the trigger if we're required to. Let's watch the tape. Is there size here on said book for this 120 defend? Well, it's leaving it right now, so we can't really see. But I do like this level. I got to tell you the truth, Tam Panda. I don't know. If you end up taking it long, I hope you print. If you don't, well, I hope you find something else that works your way. Watching it right now as we get a little bit north of that 20 level, that 120 level, excuse me, a bit of selling here at 120.20. So that fifth of a dollar acting as a local resist. There we go. Keeps rejecting. Not a lot of size, to be quite honest with you, but something just to keep a lookout for. So for breaches, you may have some support there for that 120. So I'm keeping my eye on NVIDIA. Definitely very much. I did well on NVIDIA today, but you don't want to give it back. The whole point. So I don't want to get in too quick and then, feel stupid about it later. But I like this 120 level. I don't have to get in now because we're still very much near this area of supported area. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's look at some of the other small cap gappers quickly here. Because I want to go back and stare at NVIDIA for a little bit. BNED keeps going. I can hear you, Fabian. BNED keeps going to the high side. 1070. Look, it didn't really explode through the high that it put in earlier at 1115, but it did retrace into VWAP. So gave you 1980, 19 3/4, and look at this, and then gave you 1070 again. So you had $1 off that, well, 90 pennies off that. So good look for BNED. But I got to tell you, the small cap gappers have been NAS or nothing today, right? Oh, I didn't notice that Donald John Trump moved right back into that 37.63. So putting in higher lows, but that flat top looking awfully good, man. I mean, if you draw the trend line, you don't need to be a super market technician, chartered market technician to see all these higher lows on Donald John Trump, obviously with the keynote today and the conclusion of the RNC out there in Milwaukee. So, it stands to reason that DJT is active. Keeping an eye still on NVIDIA, Dara, as we watch the fuge come back into 19,900. Uh-oh. Are we going to put in a rounded top here, Katina, man, and start dropping back down maybe to 19,008? Because I'm getting a whole bunch of topping tails here, each one successively lower than its predecessor and making lower lows as well as lower highs. Topping tails, lower lows, lower highs. Oh, baby. Is this going to be another reversion down into the 19.8, maybe even more, man, maybe down to 19.750. We couldn't make it down there. We made it down to 19.7 3/4. I think this is a short coming in on the futures over here if I had to guess, but we're going to leave this one and let it simmer and let it do its thing, 21 a day. But interesting look here on the NQ September contract.
Yeah, thank you, Day Trader Cut, for reminding us here. Fed Logan speaks at 1:45 p.m. So you're going to have to keep an eye on Fed Logan. We also have two Feds after the close. One of them is going to be Fed's Daily. Well, actually, I guess it's Fed's Nightly because Fed's Daily is going to be speaking in the evening. And then we're going to have Fed's Bowman, who, guys, notably hawkish. Fed's Bowman speaking after the close as well at 6:45. Though we had Austin Goolsbee, who was not a ghoul to the market today. The market, those are some pretty dovish comments from Fed's Goolsbee. So just definitely be aware. We do have some Fed comments coming. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes. SOXL, I got out a flat. As you can tell, the tired trading was hitting, so I had to be aware. One of my tired trading principles is, Adara, are you awake enough to get out of the trade quickly if you need to for a profit or loss? I was like, I don't know. We were seeing kind of higher lows in the book. I ended up just getting out flat. I wasn't confident enough in anything I was seeing to stay, and I think that enough is a reason to leave. You don't want to force yourself into trades just for the sake of being in a trade.
Yes.
That's not going to be the vibe. And like you said, it's not even about, to some extent, obviously you don't want to give up when you've had positive trades, but I think another part of it too is it's like, if you're going to risk that, is it a trade you love? Or is it a trade that just exists? To read, how I have it written in my rules is, do you really want this trade? Are you feeling deeply confident this is an ideal level, or does it just exist? And in this case, this just existed. It could have given you a couple pennies, but it was not going to be my type of vibe. If I do take any more trades here in our last 15 minutes of Logan time, because Fed Logan is now speaking, I want to be feeling crazy good about it. Right now, I got out basically SPCE tried to trade, got out flat. SPY tried to trade, got out flat. I stand by both these decisions. And again, would love to make some trades if the market is giving me things I feel great about, because as Sean said, you don't want to have these weird reasons to not get into a trade just because you're scared, but you also don't want to get into a trade just because you can either. It's a balance. You want to take it in the balance of the evidence. And also, Ponzi saying pause-fident. I like that. I would say confident. You know, I would make it even easier, Ponsfident. But shout out to you, Ponzi Fonzie. Also shout out to Darwin, who once said Confidera. I have a question for you, Sharif.
Yes.
You know how you said get down when the market's down, and I was like really freaked out.
Yeah.
You don't say get up. Is that your pamp at your version of
Pamp.
get
Yeah.
like
We can say pamp, Adara.
Just trying to figure out what the equivalent was.
All right,
Yeah,
we're
pretty
20
good.
pennies on the money here on the Monster NVIDIA. Let's see if we can ride the wall. I just got corrected pretty quickly because we were in the money. Now we're break even. Oh, I got out of the entire thing. Oh, crap. I fat fingered again. I took out the entire position. Okay, that's my mistake. I got in on NVIDIA as it was pamping, and then I got out there. I'm sorry about these wicks. I'll adjust it in a second. But shout out to Live, Love, and Sail. That is a sick name. Actually, I follow an account on my favorite social media platform, TikTok, and it's a family, Adara, who have basically taken a sailboat. They bought a sailboat. It's 2 daughters, the mom and the dad, and they're sailing all around the world, and they made like a family TikTok account, and they keep you apprised of
That's
all,
so
like
cute.
every time they I don't know, dock into like a different port.
love
You know, they'll do videos. They have Starlink as well, so you know.
They do?
Obviously.
That's fair.
Shout out to Elon. Yeah, because I think I'd be pretty worried out there in the middle of the ocean.
You'd wanna
with
be
no
connected.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's awesome, and they do everything there. They do they're being homeschooled. They fish. They live off the land essentially, and then you know they get resources every time they dock and stuff like that. But it's super cool. So your name, Live, Love, and Sail, made me think of that. And shout out to you. I think Live, Love, and Sail did well on NVIDIA because they're pretty happy about it. So I absolutely hope you print and continue to print on NVDA. I think it's one of the strongest names on the day. Obviously, Tesla want to say something about that as well, being that it's up 3%. Even the Zuck train there on Meta looking to get into 3%ville as well. Yeah, choo-choo. But Meta, interesting look here on Meta. So we are coming into areas of possible resistance here on said Zuck train. This 175, Katina man, what's up? What's going on over there, Katina man? Yeah, the Katina man is looking at Meta and he's surprised about how much it's retraced. But we are at this 475. I think I once said 175. 475 double top. That's the IB high. Technically, the IB high is 476.11. But the closing prints on both these bad boy candles, 925 and 930, the opening print at the 930 candle was 475. So I'm anticipating there might be a little tug of war between buyers and sellers here. There goes 475. And now it's on its way to a fifth. So Meta, awfully strong on the day, man. Like if I go to the half an hour chart, I bet you there's no red candles since that bottom. And I'm right, exactly. So since that 11:30, it's 5 half an hour green candles in a row on the Zuck train. But I do think that we should be on the lookout. I'm not saying it's going to reject here, but be on the lookout for resistance at this area because it's the IB high and it is that area that we got into that we couldn't clear in the earlier trading day. So right now, a little zig-a-zag between that 475, a little bit below, a little bit higher. Yeah, you know what? If we reject here, I'm going to jump in this short. I know there's not that much time left for me on the show, about 11 minutes or so. But right now, anyway, it's not showing you its inclination to tank as it zigs and zags above 475 again, Adara. So good look, good recovery here on the Zuck train. Obviously, it's been beat up bad the last couple of days. Did I tell you that my buddy works in digital ad sales?
You
did I tell you about the
yeah,
story? So
mentioned,
you know about
with
the
Meta,
story.
yeah.
Yeah. Because I was going to mention it again.
I mean, it's
no. If I talked about it, I've talked about it. Yeah. So that's the look there. I don't have a lot. I'm not going to jump into anything right now because I've got to be at the green screen about 8 minutes. But it's been a good day today so far. Finally, because I've had 3 red days in a row. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were all red for me. After having like multiple weeks of not having 2 straight red days, I got shellacked this week. But that's the way trading is, and you got to be ready to get shellacked at all times. So BNED, I want to leave you guys with this small cap gapper over here. This is a fantastic look on the day. In case you're wondering why this is moving, I don't think I've mentioned it, and I don't know why. I have no idea why Barnes & Noble is heading up today. Quite frankly, is there a headline from yesterday? Yes, there is. Okay. So Barnes & Noble College unveils premium and expanded dorm essentials collection back to school. That ain't going to make it run. What? Yeah, okay, but that's the only headlines that came
It's
in
right in the
yesterday.
past.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, good point. I think it has a high short float, doesn't
I
it?
think it has a less high short flow than you would expect it to have.
Really?
I was remember not
Yeah,
being
it
super
doesn't.
impressed.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It's only 1.6%. Absolutely right on that. I'm not really sure what's going on with BNED, guys, but it's up 32.5% today on some expanded Dorm Essentials collection that came in yesterday, but didn't move yesterday. So that's the look there. I don't really have anything else other than BNED and NOS. Donald John Trump, though, has shown you its, inclination to make higher lows. Who knows how high this one goes, though. I'm going to be ready for this one in the aftermarket, today, and on Blue Ocean after 8 o'clock, because you never know what the what Donald is going to say at any time and make things move. So I'm going to be all ears, eyes, and fingers so ready to punch in after
Everything.
Yeah.
All sensory things. Also, big move down here for the market. Let's find out what Fed's Logan is saying there. But also, yeah, like I have to say, like I said, the new tired trading rules were in effect here with Tesla, and I'm happy they were. I tried to get the long. I was waiting. My initial inclination, you guys know I see this and I think short. I do think short, but I watched a couple times. We bounced off the 254.40. I was like, Adara, it looks like a long. Try the long. I attempted the long, did not end up working out. Happy I waited, and also happy I got it the second I saw stuff I didn't like in the book. The second I got involved at 70s, the second we broke below 54s or 50s there, I said to Derek, get out. Got out. Happy I tried the trade because I felt good about it, and I'm happy I waited to make sure I felt okay about the levels. We were holding that level okay. The market sold up, and you have to manage things accordingly. And I think sometimes you learn more from losing trades than you do from the ones that go okay. Now, though, Tesla's coming to a deeply interesting area for me, that 254.75. If this bounces, because if you think about it here, look at how much this was top earlier. This 255 is a massive top. If we bounce here of 80s, the amount I want to take along is like, I can taste it. I can taste it. But Adara, you're short bias. Sometimes you ignore short opportunities in favor of the longs because you want to ignore that bias. I want to see if we get to 255s, come back to 80s and bounce. I'm interested. I'm trying to find out what comments are being said here. I'm just looking for comments because I know we have Fed's Logan speaking to me. That would make sense if that's what is moving this market. And I also don't necessarily know if I want to get long or involved in anything until I find out why we're bouncing around here. Shakeout in place, says Roger. Yeah, that could definitely be what's happening here. I just want to see, because we did have some Fed speak, if there's any catalyst that could explain said Fed speak. Not seeing anything here. I'm going to keep my eye out, guys, for some Fed related moments. But yeah, this Tesla bounce here looks like it was in fact in play.
Yeah, they're all the same thing.
54.80. So that's something to learn about. That's something to take that photo, journal it, and figure it out for the next time. Sometimes you just got to take advantage of opportunities, but sometimes you learn more from just being like waiting, watching, sitting, scheming, plotting, scheming, getting money, to paraphrase Drake's furthest thing. But right now, Apple is the furthest thing from up on the day. We're trying to bounce here off the 90 MA. I'm still, apologies to the Apple, trying to find out what that news was. Can't see it.
Did you see your favorite rapper Drake and his house?
I have not.
You haven't?
No.
So a couple of days ago we obviously had that gnarly flooding.
Yep.
So your favorite rapper Drake put a video of his house being flooded.
Right?
Of course I am.
Okay, good.
Right? Like I know, right? She's like getting mad. She's like,
no, I was just more confused. But no, I didn't realize he flooded. He got flooded.
His house flooded. Well, I'm assuming it's his basement. I can't imagine the actual house, the first floor itself.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but he was a little upset about that, Adara. So you might want to check in on him and make sure he's good. Neil's like, oh no, his house flooded. He's only worth $250 million or whatever he's worth now. Get it, Neil. Show him how you feel, Neil. Yes. Neil, we're just making conversation. I'm not defending the man.
No, I'm just saying. Is this on?
Yes.
No, I mean, there's an actual, a lot of damage. The last time there was a flood in Toronto was $1 billion worth of damage. A lot of people, are going to be hard up, like auto damage and whatnot. So I'm not feeling sorry for that dude. He's insured. He's all that good stuff. Intel's finally coming to the downside, by the way. Remember 35.50?
Yeah.
35.50. It is no more. It is no more. We're back on in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I felt the need to come on there.
Why not?
Anyway.
He wants to tell us about how much he doesn't care about Drake's house, and if we don't take the time to take it on the midday, when is the time? Shout out to Neil.
There never
Always
will be a
dropping
time.
hotlines. Yeah,
It's the only time.
So yeah, you might want to check in on your favorite rapper today. Make sure he's good. He doesn't need anything or anything like that.
Yeah, calling Drake my favorite rapper is almost, it's slightly less bad than if you call Taylor Swift my favorite singer. So I'll take it. I would rather have that than you call T-Swizzle my favorite singer.
T-Swizzle.
I
You even have a nickname for her.
think that's like the world's nickname for her.
Is it?
but,
Okay, I have
yeah,
no
don't-
idea.
But this TSLA, I tried to take that 255 short. I was like, ooh, that looks nice. Tesla was like, too slow. I'll move down. I said, that's okay, Tesla. Happy I had the right read on this with the long off 254.80 and then the short off 255. But alas, wasn't able to take either. That's okay, though. Happy I've been implementing the tired trading rules, trademark, to make sure I'm joking. It's not trademark.
Oh,
Fine. Oh.
there you go. All right, we're getting big boy weakness right now. Adara,
Massive
you've got that obviously that Tesla chart up and it's dropping, but the future
Turn on news.
Yeah, the future gave up. The future gave up 19.9, so it was a short the pops kind of day, guys. I just want to leave you this idea over here. We came into the what's going on, Katina, man? Never have enough shorts. He's shorting up a storm over there, and like I've been saying many times, you're always angry as a trader because you can always have more shares or a better price. It's just the way it works around these parts over here. So yeah, the future coming down. NVIDIA giving up the ghost at 120. It was nice while it lasted. It did last from 135 till right now, 155 at period of 20 minutes. I hope you guys scalped on that. I think at the best, it gave you 50 pennies. So shout out to Live, Love, and Sale because I think they took that trade. The Zuck train, unsurprised, guys. We talked about this 475 level, and now it's at 472 and 2/3. That's a mistake by me. Should have put that one on there, but there you go. That very clear area of resistance at 475 Adara, and now we're about $2 and change below that. So watch out, guys, for the afternoon. It could get really ugly here. 19,773 low of day on the NQ September contract. Let's see if we can hold above that level, Adara. I'll see everybody in about a couple of minutes on the green screen.
Yes, we'll see Sharif there on that green screen there. He will actually be Trenda because he'll be on the green screen. He'll be in blue.
Yes.
And Trenda is green and blue.
We'll see Trenda.
So shout out there. We'll see y'all at, you will see him at the green screen. Thank you so much, Sharif, for everything you do and for putting together those lessons. Always so happy to be here on this here midday desk.
Sounds good.
Short it, says CJ, the day trader. Yeah, I think everything has been pretty shorty. I have been waiting here for this TSLA, but like I said, I don't want to take a trade just to take a trade. The level I really liked was going to be that 255.50. Wasn't able to get filled in the short. 255 as a short. I wasn't able to get filled. Or the 254 long scalp there, again, was not able to get filled. So I don't want to be chasey. I don't want to go chasing waterfalls. That's how you get hurt, and that's how you get swept up at a big old rock. And that's not what I want. The only trade here that I think could feasibly set up by the time the midday's over, not saying I need a trade before the midday's over, is Apple in either direction. We bounce here, we get a little bit of a pample up into that 255 zone, or we get a bit of a dample here off the 90 MA. That's the only trade I would find vaguely enticing here that I think is setting up for my purposes, but it's not, again, not one that I super have levels on, so I would be less confident doing that. Look at that IWM short, says says Day Trader Cut. Both had Day Trader and right next to each other there, but Day Trader Cut saying, look at the IWM short. Yeah, the Russell fell to the downside. And the thing is, too, I'm kicking myself a little bit. As Sharif says, you're always going to be mad as a day trader or as a trader, period. I had some levels on this. Clearly, we had that beautiful 220.60 area. That was definitely a continued short the pops moment. We get all of these beautiful topping tail candles, each one looking more and more bearish. And then the bears really come and growl here. We fall down here in the IWM. We are at low of days. Wow, Russell, that 221 massive area of support resistance fight before we finally gave it up. But we're also going to have to give up today on the midday show just for the day. We will see you guys again tomorrow, of course. But right now we are coming to an end of this very exciting session that we've had in this year markets. And we are going to see you guys tomorrow on our show anyway, same bat time and same bat channel as per usual. But you got a whole more afternoon of trading with Sean and Neil at the big desk.
Welcome to the afternoon rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil is here, and so is Sean. He's back.